Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Schoolstone, your weekend daytime match show. I am LotusKnight, your host for the day, and I am joined by Basedinc. Base, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Excited to cast this first match with you.
Yeah, we have some insane matches. Baze is joining me for the first one. So, just going to talk about our lineup of matches for today. We're going to start with Rebobson from F2L Red versus AgentPWE, both insane undefeated players this season. So, I'm really excited for this one seed match to start. That's going to be followed by Saku versus Shoebacca, which is another great match. And we're going to follow that up to end with BZRK versus Basedinc herself. Base is going to be going against a really strong player in this crazy pro match. Just a really strong day of matches, I think.
Yeah, all very exciting. This first match is already decided, but the second two matches are still up for grabs. So, very impactful matches.
Yeah. Also, something I really like, and I like to say whenever it happens because it's a good sign, all classes are going to be in display today. Every single one, even Druid, even Mage, even Priest. Not the one I wanted to see. Priest is not great for us casters, but the rest, every single class is represented, which is always a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It's
I don't think we're at risk of a priest mirror, which is the real only danger of priests. So, should just
yeah,
be a very fun day.
I think so. I'm super excited about this. Let's zoom in and talk about our first match. So our first match is going to be Rebobson versus AgentPWE. Just really cool classes. Rebobson choosing the Mage, the Priest, the Rogue, and the Warlock versus AgentPWE's Demon Hunter, Druid, Rogue, and the Warrior. How do you feel about these decks right now, Based? What is your thought if you're seeing these classes? These are some weird classes.
Yeah, there's a couple question marks to me in the classes, particularly the mage and the druid. Have been, they definitely have their matches that they shine in. But like mage, I feel like best matchup right now is the paladin, and that's not really present on PWE. And then
Right.
druid is like a really good warrior counter, which is not present for Rebobson. So interesting how they're going to kind of shape these to fight against the classes that have been brought. So uh, those are my kind of question marks on each of the lineups. But the rest of them all have great spots in the meta that I'm excited to see how they play out today.
Yeah, same. I think there are some really cool ones in. I wonder what we're going to see. The Mage is most likely going to be some version of Highlander, since that's there's Cyclone, but pretty much Highlander's the only mage that you'll see around a lot. Um, I don't know what we're going to see for Priest. It could be Highlander, it could be Control. It's some Control deck. Rogues are just the tyrants of this current meta, it seems, with Whirl Kick, but Warlock is flexible right now. You can be Gala, you can be Control. Don't play Control that isn't Gala, Ticketus. Or you can play Zoo. So we could just see a Zoo bring here. Um,
Yeah, I wonder if there's really a merit to those other ones when Zoo is just by far and away the best warlock right now.
um, well,
Like,
there's against Paladin, Gala could be better.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Gala just wrecks Paladin. Things with like the hard removal, like Mage and like Galakron Warlock, really punish Paladin.
Yes, but you don't punish these classes. Well, you
No.
can you
Yeah.
can beat
So,
Highlander Druid.
yeah, Stiff Breeze can beat Highlander Druid. So, like that's not the real question to me. Like, oh, there's Druid is there to beat specific things. I feel like
Yes.
so unless but Blastoise to hit rank one. So maybe I'm just wrong, but it just feels like it's one of those decks where it's like you hit ramp and then you just blow them out with power play after power play, or you die.
Yes.
So
Yeah. I wonder also which Druid we're going to see. Are we going to see Clown, Mally, or Highlander?
yeah, Yeah, I think that there's merit to bringing Mali here. A little bit slower classes potentially, and the mage and the priest, so you can come down and OTK them.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, the risk is if you play Geppetto, Alucia can come down and deal a combo. But other than that, you a lot of times have a free reign to just find the OTK and do it.
Yeah, that is true. An interesting one is also, what is AgentPWE's warrior? It
Mhm.
I would guess from this position, I would guess a bomb warrior.
Yeah, it definitely seems solid. But then there's always the question of like, what if Rebomb techs for the bomb warrior, and Sticky
Yes.
Fingers come back into the lineup, and now what do you do? So
Yeah.
it is a risk. It's very rewarding if there's no Sticky Fingers to counter it, but it certainly is able to be teched against pretty easily.
Right. I wonder what we're going to see here. Let me communicate these players that we're good to go whenever they're ready.
Yeah, I just sent a message to PWE asking about a ban, so we'll see if they hop to that soon.
Yeah. What do you expect the bans to be here?
So I would expect Rebob to ban the Demon Hunter, and
Yeah.
then probably for PWE, I'd expect like maybe a priest or a rogue ban.
Hmm. Priest is interesting to me. I don't know if I see a priest ban. Given that you're
Okay.
going
Uh,
druid, I might actually ban Zoo. But the rogue
yeah,
likes facing Zoo so much.
yeah. Your rogue and your demon hunter, I think, are what you expect to be one of the bans. So I think that banning Zoo does kind of make sense. Like it can really get in there underneath the other two decks.
Yeah.
It's a bit fast for brawls. So there's definitely chances where you can come down on turn 4 with some giants and smack face and put them on the back
Yeah.
foot and finish the game.
Especially if you're
So
playing Rascals.
yeah, and definitely there's not a lot of aggro, so you can get away with it. Likely, you're not facing other like shamans, or there's only the one rogue or the demon hunter, so you can probably get away with rascals over the Minari Moshers.
Yeah. Or even cutting, like you could. I hate saying this because I think the card is completely insane, but in this context, I could even see you cutting out Broom. Because Broom is not that important into these matchups. You're mostly looking for Broom against board based decks, and I don't see
Hmm.
AgentPWE really caring that much about the board.
Hmm. Okay. I mean, that is. I'd say that's
It's
a hot take.
it's a
Cutting
hot
broom.
take. I think
That's a
Broom
hot
is,
take.
and this comes from someone who's defended the Broom nerf for a very long time. I've been talking about how Broom has to be nerfed, and they're not doing it, but I think I could see it here just because if you're banning Demon Hunter, you don't really need it against Mali Druid. It's okay against Rogue. It's pretty good against Rogue, but you definitely don't need it against anything but Enrage Warrior.
Yeah. Like it's a hot take, but I think I might agree with you. So it's possible. I mean, I don't think I could ever pull the trigger on that, but maybe
Yeah,
maybe Rebob's a bit bolder than I am in this sense.
yeah. These are players who they've been in THL for a long time. I don't even know when each of them joined. Agent PWE joined probably around 2 years ago or something. Rebob has joined a really long time. So it's going to be interesting to see how much THL tricks they can pull. If they can pull things like cutting the broom or just really interesting
Mhm.
tech cards that we're not expecting.
Yeah. Definitely a lot of room for tech in it. Definitely the mage and the priest and the druid, especially if you go Highlander. So very interesting to see what goes on.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I think this is going to be a cool match. Legacy also has this interesting effect where it's always about getting a certain deck through. And
Mhm.
I think a lot of this match is going to be about whether Rebob can get the priest through or not. Because if Rebob can
Okay.
get their priest to win a match, the mage is actually in a better position in my view. Just because with mage you can play a bit more proactive. You could bring Cyclone, which wouldn't be entirely awful if you're banning Demon Hunter. So I think the mage is better
Yeah.
positioned than the priest.
Okay. Interesting to see how this plays out. I have a lot more faith in priest right now than I do in the mage. So
Interesting. I mean, you can beat Mali Druid if you get the interesting combos.
mhm.
I don't think they've figured out bans yet. Let me message.
Tell them that we've been on air for so long. We need those fans. Did you send a live message to THL? We
I'm
are
going to
live
send
now,
right
aren't we?
now. I think we are. I
Okay.
never know if Carlbot is doing it or not.
Rip Carlbot.
Oh, okay. So there was a bit of a problem. Rebob, um, so, hmm. So something happened here where if you look at the matchup, AgentPWE banned the warrior, but Rebob is not bringing warrior.
Okay, so PWE doesn't have a ban then.
Yeah, he doesn't have a ban, so if the rule was as I thought, Rebob gets to choose the ban.
No, so Rebob doesn't have any banned classes. He just has to get 3 through himself. So he can play all 4,
Okay.
but just has to win with 3.
Oh, so it's even more flexible than him choosing the ban. Okay.
Yeah. So what did Rebob ban?
Rebob banned the rogue, so I'll
Okay.
update that on the display for you. This is going to make it quite interesting. A lot harder
Yeah.
for PWE, but we'll see what that means. PWE not having the rogue, I don't think it's a super big deal not to have the rogue, but I do think you did not want to face that warlock if you could avoid it, especially without rogue.
Yeah. Yeah, the warrior or like a soul demon hunter or an aggro demon hunter can kind of get there, but without the rogue, it's gonna be a tricky one.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready to send them off?
Yep. So just as a reminder for those of you who have not seen a 4 versus 3, since AgentPWE submitted a wrong ban of Warrior, which Rebop doesn't have, Rebop gets the right to play 3 classes of his choice. And
Oh, he can
whenever
play all 4. Like
he can, he just
he
needs to
just
win with 3.
he just needs to win with 3.
Yeah. So there's no ban and it won't be indicated. We're not waiting for them to queue. Any expectations on what we're going to see first?
Um, I mean the warlock and I guess the demon hunter, maybe the warrior.
Sure. I think we can see. Yeah. I would actually expect to see
Uh,
right now trying to get the zoo in.
mhm. We are live. They are in match.
Yep. We're going to spec him. For some reason, the client for Blizzard is a little bit buggy because that's what you get from Hearthstone. So we're trying to get Rebob spec here. Okay, it worked. It was
Yeah.
telling me to spec Based before, and I was thinking, I don't think that works.
No, I don't think so either. But we are in, and it is Bomb Warrior versus Zoo.
Okay. This isn't the matchup Bomb Warrior wants to face. It's fairly favored for the
No,
zoo.
yeah, definitely not what you want to see.
Especially with this start.
Yeah, I think we might be. Ooh, just ripping the Corsair cache. I was thinking maybe you throw down a tempo bear off here.
Hmm. So the question is, are you forced to just tempo Barov now? Coin Barov is a play.
Hmm. Yeah, it removes the whole board, and then you can follow it
Right.
up with like a blade storm or a shield block to try and get back some of your health. Or chorus is pretty strong here. Although I think you probably want to use chorus on a giant later, so the blade storm kind of makes sense to just clear off whatever's played next.
Yeah, I think the Bear of makes sense just because also leaving if he plays Dark Glare, this is pretty good for you. Anything
Mhm.
he plays, honestly, you're fine.
Yeah, I don't think you had an option outside of the Barov here,
No.
especially because now you can follow it up with Bladestorm if there's no play no played minion here. But it looks like a Flame Imp is likely to come down as well.
Right. Well,
You could hold it because you got Dark Lair, but
sure. The Clockwork Goblin is actually surprisingly decent here just because it's a body.
yeah, a nice body. And now we'll see Dark Lair come down and do
Yeah.
its thing.
Yeah. The thing that just broke wild for quite a while. Um,
Mm, I'd say it's still broken.
yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah, and this is a huge board, resilient to a Blade Storm. Not what you want to see if you're a PWE fan.
No. You have to play the wrench, just get the bomb, hope Zoo kills itself really fast. But this isn't looking great.
Yeah, Giants are pretty cheap, and that is heal right there in the Minari Mosher. That's going to be huge
Yeah. You're
heal
also
and
so
damage.
close.
Yeah. Uh,
Um, this is a spicy list by PWE. Do you mind talking about that just for a second?
yeah. So, like the Goblin and this Ringmaster Watley is something we saw kind of early in the expansion. I believe I saw Baby Bear playing it in a tournament, as well as some
Mm-hmm.
other people in was it Max League?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that PWE's gone with something more akin to that list.
Yeah.
Wow, just going up to 13 health, and
He's
that
dead.
is lethal right there with the Soulfire in hand.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dead.
Yeah, Rebob
Does
counting it up, making sure.
no Soulfire luck needed. You can just go face.
Nope. Yeah, I think got to make sure just in case you were counting wrong, you might need a tap for a Soulfire,
Right.
another Soulfire, another Minari Mosher, another Whispers to buff that board, but nothing needed. That's just game one to Rebob.
Right. The Rebob getting his Warlock through. Not really surprising. We were talking about how Warlock was probably going to be the ban, but it is getting him ahead. He only needs to win with one of the Mage Priest, assuming he plays the Rogue at some point.
Mhm.
Game 2 starting. We here see the Bomb Warrior versus the Rogue.
Ooh, and it is an aggressive rogue, which if Rebob had gone with a bit of a slower rogue, like would have been really weak to this bomb warrior. But I
Yeah.
think Rebob made that call that the PW is going to be bringing bomb warrior with the mage and the priest, and figured he'd get some solid wins off of it.
Yeah. Also, let's look at the second card right here. Plague of Madness, Hard Run. It's such a good card against Bomb Warrior just because it gives you exactly what you need. It gives
Hmm.
you a way to remove their weapon and put a bad weapon in their Corsair cash pool. And no one
Yeah,
expects it.
yeah. It's been an interesting tech that some people have opted for.
Right.
I've seen a few times here. Just as a nice one of solid removal. Paladins is a deck that can really give you trouble
Right.
as this very aggressive stealth rogue. So you have now a way to remove minions. I think it kind of started as during the Evolved Shaman era,
Yeah,
so definitely makes sense in that regard.
yeah. And we're going to see it pay off pretty well here.
Yeah, it's very likely we'll see it come down next turn. Mm.
Doesn't combo super well with anything, but it's a play.
Well, it combos well with that damage.
Yeah, it's a lot of face damage.
Use use all that mana you set up for a secret passage the following turn. I'd kind of like to just see that Sinister Strike get put out there and maximize the damage usage
Yeah,
or
I
the
would have
mana,
done
especially
so.
like right, like you can secret passage into a lethal next turn, especially if they're on 10. You know,
Yeah,
there's definitely combinations of cards that would have killed PWE.
yeah. Do you ever upgrade your weapon here? Just saying, I want to play this, so I can get a cheaper cutting class next turn.
I'm not sure, but this is going to set up provided there's no armor gain,
Yeah,
a lethal over the next 2 turns. But I guess with just hero powering, you still get there over the next. No, you need a little bit more damage, and that pen flinger is more damage.
yeah. Strong card to get here. Just fling their face a lot, and they are going to lose.
Yeah.
There's a bomb.
Mhm.
I don't like that order because I wanted to throw that prize plunderer down. It's really useless in that matchup, so I just wanted it as a 2-1.
Yeah, and also just to pull it out of your deck.
Yeah,
You could have played it instead of the mermaid with the man, and you just had to play it
right.
before you played the Pharaoh Cat. Otherwise, you have to remove the Pharaoh Cat.
Yeah. I don't think it will affect the results, but
No, yeah, I think that this just kind of wraps up the game. I mean, you shield slam a 1-2, maybe. I don't know.
good. I mean, at this point, you need one damage is a lot here.
Yeah, that's definitely lethal.
Yes. Yeah, that's lethal. I don't know if he had lethal before. I think he was one off, but that is
Yeah.
definitely no. It's interesting how Rebob
Ooh, and
got these classes. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, it could have been setting the bait for this bomb warrior to come out and try and counter it.
Yeah, I think so. The main question is, you need to beat the priest and the mage, or get through with one of them. What are they going to be, and how do you get through them?
I mean, if they got sticky fingers, this definitely can go the way of them. But I think, yeah, you just start with this bomb warrior. This is what the deck is for, is beating these slow matchups, and then you try and figure out how to get your other 2 classes through them.
Right. A bit of a sad note with the
Ooh.
ban mistake, but this looks like the old school control priest, like before this expansion.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm interested to see if we got the 2/5. What is that called? A Nesmani Bloodweaver, or
Yeah.
if it's a little bit even closer to that original list with just insights added.
So, do you think here is the point where you play your 3-3, or do you just go with a weapon?
I think I like just playing at the 3/3. Um, you know, it guarantees that it can go face next turn, where your weapon's only going face It can go face either turn, but now if you did it in the opposite order.
Sure. I'm not sure I super agree here. I would have gone. I kind of liked just getting the weapon out so I can kill it fast with my Horde Pillager and don't risk it getting stolen. Just because getting it stolen means. Yeah, it's not a grave issue right now, but it wouldn't be great.
Yeah, but we do have both weapons already in hand. So I
Yeah,
think going into this match, you probably assume that it is Highlander.
right.
I think that's just like the the most like common of these.
Yeah,
So
that is true.
I don't think you want to really think too much about playing around sticky fingers when you have this in hand.
Sure. Another good reason to go this route is you can coin Boom on 6. Don't know why he
Hmm.
didn't play Minefield here and just go face. I really like going face in this.
Yeah, you let the damage keep just sticking on. Ooh, that is a huge pickup if this boom's coming down next turn.
Really don't like the
Continue
way
to keep the
PWE is
board
going.
clean. This makes sense because you get to remove the 3/5. But I think earlier we could have ignored board and sent damage face earlier.
You do have the bombs, but the way you win is by hitting face with your weapon. It's the fact that that weapon represents so much damage more than anything else.
Yeah. Hmm. I mean, is there a play different than boom?
The only argument to me is whether you upgrade as well, and I think you do.
Okay, yeah. Just in case, a soul mirror can find a way to kill.
Plus, it's a good way to start your play. Get some bombs in his deck, play your boom. These bombs are likely some of them going face.
Yeah. Just a quick, easy soul mirror.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is a lot of damage going to both players' faces. And
yeah.
with 6 bombs in Rebob's deck, it's not unlikely that he draws a bomb on the coming turn.
No, but this is also a lot of damage
Whew.
into PWE, especially with that bomb
Yeah,
luck.
2 bombs kills him.
Yeah, there are only 2
Ooh,
bombs in deck.
that's a big pickup though.
Oh yeah, it's one of the best cards in the matchup.
I think you just play it right now. It now
Yeah,
prevents bomb draws from killing you. It lets you put in 6 damage to the face next turn, provided you can clear something.
yeah, and you have all the tools to clear basically everything they do.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Literally
mean,
everything.
Barov Sword Board is too expensive to play alongside of the Horde Pillager and Hero Power, but you still can clear off pretty much anything.
Yeah. You can play it with Blade Storm.
Yeah, so now we can just. Oh, are we gonna drop a 16 attack minion? I definitely want to send damage face this turn, so I think I'm on the Blade Storm Sword Board.
I think so. I'm trying to think if there's anything better than that, but I don't think there is.
Like
Definitely.
removing the board sets him to 5 and
Mhm.
prevents an apotheosis.
Right. Also adds a bomb to the deck.
Yes, oh yeah, also adds a bomb to the deck. So now we're looking at 6 and 22.
Yeah, just a chance the game is over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Ooh, and there's a sticky finger.
there's a finger. It's pretty good survival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really huge.
Yeah. The Corsair cache, definitely not what you wanted to see at this point.
Yeah, I think it's just an easy. Ooh, choosing not to Deathwing.
I don't hate it,
I
actually.
guess there's broom outs with Apotheosis if you have minions on board.
Yeah. And there it is.
But yep.
Bomb Warrior gets through the Priest. I don't think this is a surprise. There weren't enough sticky fingers early on to stop this. Did we lose Baze? Baze, are you here?
Oh, I'm here. Sorry.
No worries, no
I
worries.
got a message in a different chat that I had to look at real quick. Ooh. And I did actually know what Demon Hunter this was coming in after talking with PWE. Um,
Yeah? What are we in for?
I mean, looking at that opening hand, and this hand, I think we can see that it is a nice combo DH.
Yeah. I like it. I'm wondering whether there's an Lucia in the Priest or not, because this match comes down to Lucia.
Yes, yes. I think I ran into Buck on ladder, and I just immediately messaged him, no Lucia, and he goes, "Oh, you know what I'm looking for."
Yeah. Hard mulligan for Lucia. Keep doing
Oh
everything you
yeah,
can to get Lucia out. And if you do, you're going to
yeah.
win. If you don't, you're going to lose.
But as Rebob, do you have this read? Because to me, Soul Demon Hunter looked far and away like the
Yeah,
choice here. Very strong into priest, mage, zoo, and rogue.
I agree.
So, like, not that this is bad, but yeah, I was curious if that's going to be a Rebob's read.
hmm Well, since you know a bit more about AgentPWE, I'm going to ask, did he bring the new Turbo Zeph list, where you play fewer duplicates to try to get Zeph as early as possible?
So looking at this Throglaive, I think he might have. Uh, Before the match, he asked me if I would ever play um, without Blade Dance, which I said, yeah. I mean, this is a deck that I've been playing
hmm
since very early on. One of my favorite decks, maybe of all time, is this.
Ooh,
It feels hard to win with sometimes, but like it feels really rewarding to play. Um,
sure.
but I think that this might be the new semi Highlander list.
That's
Ooh.
interesting.
Yeah, kind of judging by Rebob's plays here,
hmm
I'm interested if this is just trying to dig to get Volusia, like that play of drawing lets him kind of just cycle through his deck because he knows that most of what's in the pool are Clerico scales. So
Yeah.
it's either that or he's looking to try and find a way to pressure because those are the two ways you win. So it kind of just makes sense to take this line no matter what, um,
hmm
if you have a Lucia or not.
Um, I actually really dislike this double jump here because I just want to play Skull, and since I can't play Skull yet, drawing from my deck is going to make it harder for me to play Skull. So my goal is just to waste everything
Uh,
I can so I can play Skull on like 8 or something.
I don't know if that's really an option at this point. Like you have the discount of Raging Fell Screamer, so you don't need to hit discounts off of Skull to win the game.
Okay.
And so I think that he's looking to kind of catch like a spectral sight. You know, he hit the philosophy, which is probably the worst roll he could have had. Um, you know, I think there's merit to right here just casting Skull for 6.
I agree. I think you can cast one of the Skulls for 6 and just say, I want to draw 3. I would have tried to get the second
Mhm.
one out because it's just so good. This deck, let's be
Ooh,
honest. Oh,
so he is committing to trying to cast this Skull, which you can only do with a 1 cost card that does not add to your hand, or a a a 2/4. What's it called? The Mrgl, because the Mrgl costs 0. Ooh, and there
yeah.
it is. So he did hit it.
Now, the big thing here is there's actually an OTK, which Rebobson is really close to pulling.
So each of those is doubled. So yeah, so he's. I mean, I think you might want to play yes the Blood Mage and get a full clear here. Yeah. Um, yeah, each of those was going to be able to deal double the damage. So that was 18 represented on board for PWE. Ooh, and a Sticky Finger pickup could have set it up over the 2 turns. I think we'll
Yeah,
still see Sticky Finger come down.
I would. I play a lot of Sticky Fingers in my decks whenever I know I'm facing something like this, so makes perfect sense.
Mhm. Mm, I mean, I just want to see that other Skull of Gul'dan come down.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still not too late. I think you can still play it right now. But right now, looking at this hand, if we can pick up 2 sources of Lifesteal Burn, the game is over on turn 10. And
hmm,
there it is.
yeah. You are moving for the OTK, and you can definitely get 2 Mrgs and 2 Fell Screams in.
Mhm. And you can also get a hero power or the spell damage from the Ethereal Og Merchant. But we are. I think this might be casting Spectral Sight. Uh, the middle spectral sight, so we don't overdraw, or casting philosophy first to draw. Maybe find something you can pair with the immolation aura. Oh, or an active Zephyrus to clear this board.
Yeah. Can Zeph clear here? You can play. I don't know that you can clear.
So if you go immolation aura, Zeph, it can give you 2. Or if you go I beam, Zeph. Yeah, I think that just doing this alongside I-Beam, and then it's possible we can go Zeph for like a smite if we really want to.
Sure.
That would have cleared up a good amount of the board. Ooh, a little too late to get out that other I-beam. But
Yeah.
like, provided that we can hit something else on the board other than our own minions, we have lethal next turn as PWE.
Yeah, there's the Il'gynoth, Mrgl. Ethereal, each of the Fell Screams is going to deal 24 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Now there's the chance of Plague of Death. That would be a really, really insane play.
Yeah, I like the Plague of Death only kind of delays the inevitable because next turn PWE is free to just play Zephyrus to try and find an additional source of damage.
Right.
Um, yeah, because right now, actually, how much damage is it? Is it? It's just the 24. So each Fell Scream is 24, but if you hit your own minion, um, you're going to not be able to. So I think right now you can, as PWE, play this twin slice. These twin slices,
Mm-hmm.
the Zephyrus, and I mean you can grab Doomhammer. I
You
think,
can grab
or
Doomhammer.
what it's more likely to do, like I think the play might be to grab Eldrazi Warblades.
Does it give Warblades?
It
Interesting.
can, but going with the Doomhammer, it is 10 damage face. I do not, or 14 damage face. Don't blame PWE in the slightest for taking this. It didn't offer it though. I guess sometimes you got to put it lower.
Oh, but that is just Murozond.
That's just going to be
That's lethal.
lethal. That is lethal.
Wow. Nutty ending.
Yep, that is definitely a way to end it. If this was ranked, Rebob gets the sweet shaman um, achievement of 16 damage in a turn with your hero.
Yeah. And as a priest.
As a priest, priest is probably completing a lot of quests for different heroes.
Yeah, that's true. I guess. Let's get Rebob in for his interview. Oh, I'm not friends with him on Discord. This was a really interesting match. A lot of cool decisions and just a lot of cool plays that we see all around.
Yeah. Do you have Rebob as a friend?
He hasn't accepted me yet. I've sent a friend request. Um,
He may be switching over into Discord. I see he is logged off of Hearthstone for the time being.
okay. Yep. Okay. Rebob, congratulations on your match.
Thank you. I was hoping for the super quick sweep, but so I've got a question.
Yeah.
Was that play like really dumb, or was I correct?
No, you were correct. If you had anything left on board,
Yeah.
he would have been able to kill you. I thought it was just going to be delaying the inevitable. I was thinking Zeph would have given Eldrazi instead of like that would have been the pick, I think, over the Doomhammer, because then you can definitely.
Wait, is Eldrazi classic?
It's basic.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I've never seen Zeph give
you.
it.
You kind of gotta be low on health. You gotta force yourself to 3 mana. And then buffing up your hero's attack is always a good way to do it. So I think that was the only missing part, is because he was at 5, it said Doomhammer and not Eldrazi. But I have had it offer both when I've been low enough.
Huh. That's weird. Yeah, I was just like, okay, I'm either gonna look super smart or super stupid if I do this. So I was just frantically trying to work it out, just like, because it seemed really counterintuitive. But I was like, because I'd seen Il'gynoth, the 0-cost Org Merchant. I'd seen in Philosophy to make 2 Moargs, though I knew they costed 2. And I'd seen 1 I-Beam, but I knew that there were probably still 2 floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
So I figured.
Yeah, let's see.
I just had to clear the board, but I was just very happy when he. I think if he didn't go for if he just didn't play anything, I probably just lost.
I mean, I don't know, because like his combo to pull off his combo, like anything he cast would kill his minions. So
yeah, that was my
like
thinking.
You can get away with like I don't know, like he has to find a way to get 5 more damage, right? Or 6 more damage if you're at full. And so there's no real way to then hit your Il'gynoth after that, after you've killed off all the spell damage and finish it. So yeah, and like the I-Beam was now I think in the kind of towards the center. So like if he had a way to outcast I-Beam, it was possible, but did not.
Yeah, him having the Il'gynoth really early was pretty good for me.
Yeah.
So the whole thinking behind the lineup was to try and target Bomb Warrior, but you need to draw a sticky finger for that to work.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought that might have been the play, is you were trying to bait out a Bomb Warrior and then beat it up.
Yeah. Well, the original idea was to target Paladin, but then he didn't bring it. But then he didn't ban one of my decks. So it was all around a bit of a mess. But
yeah. This was quite the match. Thank you for playing on stream. And before you join me in the casting desk for the next 2 matches, I want to ask you a question I just like asking everyone. So, given the current meta, which card is the most broken right after the nerfs we just had?
Risky Skipper.
Skipper?
Yep. Skipper. Skipper, Secret Passage.
Skipper.
Sure.
I think Passage is okay.
Passage is still 1 mana draw 4. That is pretty good.
Yeah, that always draws more.
Risky Skipper is just,
Yeah.
do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Risky Skippers make Warrior playable for 16 months.
Yep, not much longer. Then it's they lose Wrench Counter and Risky Skipper at the same time, so I don't know what Warrior does.
They'll find a way.
Yeah, I was quite glad when he didn't ban one of my good decks, because it meant that I was able to quite quickly beat up the Bomb Warrior for the first 2 and then just hope. Well, it meant I didn't have to play Mage. Mage was terrible. Really wasn't happy about bringing that.
That's fair. I was not looking forward for Mage into these decks, but Priest. I thought the Priest would be in trouble as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just like, if I draw a Lucia, I win.
Yeah.
In the last game, but just much like the sticky finger, I didn't draw it.
Right. Yeah.
So.
That was. Take it. Yeah, that was still a really good match. I know Baze is not staying, so I just want to thank Baze for joining me for this first match, and wish Baze all luck I can wish, since I need to be an unbiased commentator. So all the luck I can wish in her match in an hour right here against BZRK. That match is going to be so insane.
Thank you. I hope
gonna have to
Rebob
not be too biased in this.
Yeah. as a captain of Berserk. But anyways, thank you for having me. Congrats again, Rebob, and I will see y'all later.
Bye. Good luck.
Later, Baze. Okay, so just as a reminder, as we prepare for the next matches really quick, we had our first match in Rebobson versus AgentPWE, which will be followed by Saku versus Shoebacca, still for Legacy, and then Berserk versus F2L. Small casting issues here. We'll act like no one saw it as I transition to the next state. We have Saku versus Shoebacca in the 5 seed match. How are you feeling for this match, Rebob?
I mean, I've not had a chance to properly look at the classes. It's, you know, two guys who have been sticking around for quite some time. What are their classes? Just
so let's take a look at the classes. Saku is going for the Paladin, Rogue, Shaman, and Warrior, versus Shoebacca's Paladin, Rogue, Warlock, and Warrior. So they went for a much more aggressive route, I think. Definitely not a Priest Mage route than what you brought before.
Yes, I don't recommend anyone going that route.
I think this is going to be an interesting one because we have they're very similar, but the main choice of Shaman versus Warlock pops out a lot to me because Shaman can be 3-ish different decks depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 if you ask Hockey Boys.
Well, Hockey probably thinks all classes have like 5 different options right now, so let's not go the hockey route and just say what would you bring, Rebob, if you were in Saku's shoes here? You're facing a Paladin, a Rogue, a Warlock, and a Warrior. With your Paladin, Rogue, Shaman, and Warrior. Any thoughts? Anything you're really expecting? Anything you would think in terms of bans?
So both strategies make me think that they're going quite aggressive. Wait, this is Conquest, right?
Yeah, this is Legacy. It's best of 5 Conquest.
Yeah, so both of them probably going something pretty aggressive. Like I'd see a Zoo and I'd see a Burn Shaman maybe. Probably both with Well Kick Rogue. So some kind of control-y or Enrage Warrior sticks out as just being pretty problematic for both of them. So I'd expect either Rogue or Warrior banned, and I think that would be correct for either of them. But if they kind of mix things up, like if they do bring the Enrage Warrior, then I think the Warrior ban then becomes strictly correct. But if it's something like, Silas or ETC Control, then Rogue is also an acceptable ban.
Yeah. I agree. I can see Saku banning the Rogue. Warrior is a very common ban, but if you're bringing Paladin, you definitely don't want to go that route. Paladin has a pretty good game against a lot of these. So
yeah, the kind of Broom Paladin also does quite well against the aggressive strategies, but similarly struggles a bit more against Rogue.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility to go maybe ETC Control or Silas Warrior and Broom Paladin and ban the Rogue.
Yeah. I agree. I would probably ban the Zoo myself. It's just the 2 decks are going to get through independent of your lineup, but you can get a few more wins into the Rogue depending on your Shaman and your Warrior than you can against the Warlock, because I think Shaman has a really tough time against Warlock with almost all Shaman lists, right?
Yes. Sorry, if you hear the typing and I sound a bit distracted, it's because, much like my match just now, another of my players' matches has just had a deck fail to be banned. So apparently that's the recurring theme for today.
Huh. Yeah, that can happen.
Everyone's had a bit too lazy of a Sunday, so now everyone's a bit confused.
Yeah, so just as a reminder for everyone who is in THL, banning, if you need a ban, all you need to do is have a deck named Ban. And you can only have one deck of that class, and it needs to be a class your opponent brought. So please remember to have a ban, otherwise your opponent gets a lot more flexible of a solution.
Yes. Just bear with me 1 second. If you can keep talking for 10 more seconds, I'll be right with you.
Of course. So I think there's something interesting to be said as well about Warlock standing, because Warlock went from 2 weeks ago where everyone was like, Warlock is a thing, but no one really brought it, maybe you brought Gala, to just being the new star. It's probably the 3rd or 4th class right now, and it's just in such a sweet spot. It has multiple viable decks, has people talking about it, it has high legend players with Zoo, especially Zoo, just aggro Warlock and Warlock as a whole was quite down this year out of some very sparse Zoo climbs. And to see it back, it's nice. I wonder whether this is related to the Demon Hunter fall, where Warlock has been really punished by Demon Hunter. Your whole style depends on you burning yourself out, and their style depends on clearing yourself and killing you because you burned yourself out. So it puts you in a really bad spot there. That being said, we do have the bans. The Shaman was banned by Shu versus Saku banning his Paladin. So definitely not what I expected here. Shoebacca's Paladin banned versus Saku's Shaman. I don't know if Rebob is back, but if you're back, do you have any comments on that, Rebob?
Sorry, what were the bans? I heard Paladin was banned for Saku and...
Saku banned Shoebacca's Paladin, and Shoebacca banned Saku's Shaman.
Shaman was banned. Right. That I don't know what to think about that, Lotus.
No. I really don't.
Paladin makes some amount of sense. It suggests that there is probably the Enrage Warrior, the World Kick Rogue, the Broom Paladin, because they're still not fantastic against the Paladin. He's gone a bit more aggressive and doesn't want to deal with that. Could also mean that there's a pure Paladin on his own side. The Shaman ban, I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah. I'm wondering what we make of
Control
this.
Shaman?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a deck I'm thinking about a lot, if I'm being honest.
Are there any Shaman decks that you are thinking a lot about?
I mean, it could be aggro, but is that bad?
I do not know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I need to make sure that I do have both these players added. I need to get Shoebacca's tag.
Sure.
So let me just find that.
I'll send them the go signal as we're doing this, since we can probably start the match. They're going to go with mulligans and everything.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes. Of course, we got the nicest man in THL.
That is true. Those are both really nice players. I'm excited to see Shu as well, since he was with me in GLA for 3 seasons, and I think Shu is such a good 5 seed. I think this is going to be a pretty high level match.
Yeah, I think Shu is definitely one of the better 5 seeds around.
Yes.
He's not far off, staking his own claim in the 4, I don't think. He's still improving.
Yes.
And just added them both. Looks like they're both in game now.
They are in game. So let's see what we're going to start with here.
So it looks like we've got Saku starting out with the Warrior and Shoebacca with the Warlock.
So this is a Galakrond Warlock. Really unexpected for me.
No, I think this is a Bomb Warrior, just with Galakrond in it.
Oh, but the Galakrond Warlock, I mean. Or...
Oh, sorry, if you could poke Shoebacca to accept me as a friend.
Sure.
So I can spectate him. Yeah. If this is the Galakrond Warlock versus Bomb Warrior matchup, that is really, really bad news for Shoebacca, as this matchup, all things considered, is absolutely horrible. HS Free
Yeah.
Play Legend has it at 33% for the Galacon Warlock. Because
Right.
they just draw so many cards and damage themselves quite a lot with life taps that the bombs are just going to get them eventually, and it's really hard for them to exert anything near enough pressure. But we will see. I'm sure Shoebacca will give it a good shot. But with Saku's opening hand, we see Wrench Caliber, Cutting Class, Blastmaster Boom, and the Wrench Caliber has an upgrade to go alongside it, and it already has +1 durability. That's a lot of bombs. And
That's
then a
a
lot of
lot.
bombs.
And a lot of face damage. Assuming Shoebacca goes the aggressive, I'm going to kill you by hitting you in the face more than trading, that's just so much damage you're going to be able to pull in a very short amount of time.
Yep, and Saku is going straight for the face.
Yep.
Shoebacca still has not accepted my friend request.
Oh, I've messaged
so
him.
I still cannot see his hand.
Well, right now his hand is very weird. He is playing the Void Drinker as well as Fire Breather packages, which I don't think anyone does.
Yeah, so it's much more Soul Fragment oriented, I will say.
Yep.
Saku's got a pretty nice turn here of Shield Block, Blade Storm, upgrade, send it to the face if he does spot it, which looks like he's going to. I was thinking about it at least.
Yeah.
But I very much like that line. As the warrior, what you really just want to be doing is sending every weapon swing to the face and just use your cards to deal with their minions.
Yes.
Come on. Yeah, see the upgrade. Saku's tasting things nice and slow, which is something I always like to ask 5Cs to do. You know,
yes.
Don't rush it.
Yeah, and he is saying that right after he turbo played a huge match against AgentPWE. Both of them playing so fast.
I think I'm known for being quite a fast player, and it's sometimes to my massive detriment.
Sure.
It doesn't always go too well for me, but you know.
That's fair.
I'm pretty happy with it. I'm always pretty happy to play aggro quite fast.
Yes.
Because I have played a lot of it.
Yeah.
If I'd had to play that mage, I would have played a lot more slowly. I just had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, I don't even know what mage you brought, and well, you have the right to keep that secret. But this is looking really strong for Saku. Just a lot of bombs. Shoebacca's already at 15, and he's at turn 6 against a quote-unquote control deck. And Boom comes down next turn.
Yes. The Boom coming down. There's the first bomb, 2 remaining in the deck. So just drawing 1 is ideal for Saku, as he can now swing, get the full number of Boom bots. The NoProsHere is going to get some amount of healing back for Shoebacca, but he's just nowhere near executing any of his own game plan.
Yeah.
And he's going to get himself to 10 cards to try and overdraw some of the bombs.
I don't think I like this a lot. I would just have dropped Boom here. So strong. He's almost dead. Just go with the Boom. No need to remove. Don't worry about removal. Fine.
I mean, it's a slower line, but arguably it's slightly safer.
Yeah.
Because Shoebacca is going to die just to weapon swings over the next couple turns if he doesn't do anything anyway. So Saku must be thinking, well, if I just keep continuously dealing with this stuff, there's nothing he can really do. Plus, the draw of the Whirlwind might have influenced him some. So Blastmaster Boom, Whirlwind on the following turn means that those Boom bots are guaranteed damage. Although I don't think there is a way for Warlock to prevent the damage that easily. Got nothing like Plague of Death in their midst. And
no. The best would be
just going for Soul Fragments here.
And that's a backward-looking card that we're seeing on stream, because
Yes, that is a new bug for me.
That can
That is
sometimes happen with Broodmother.
yes, it did give the +4 health, which makes me believe it is an Aransi Broodmother.
Yeah.
But in any case, it's not going to be anywhere near enough.
No.
Saku's Blast the Boom Whirlwind is going to do way more than enough damage, and that was a pretty one-sided game.
Yeah, that was just the Bomb Warrior doing what the Bomb Warrior does. We may need to reconnect since sometimes I know specifically Broodmother messes things up for us. But for now, we don't have to. We can just keep this going.
Yep. So that is the Warrior out of the way for Saku, as well as the Paladin. So what? So he's got the Rogue left, which is what he's going to queue. And it looks like it is the World Kit Rogue, and Shoebacca is going to stick with the
Warlock.
kind of control Warlock.
Yeah. This looks like a very weird choice. Just a Warlock here. It's not... I don't like this list. I like the list with Galakrond a lot better than the Demon Control list, but it just feels a lot weaker.
Yeah, especially, I would say, when you're coming into a Rogue. The reason that the Galakrond Warlock matchup into the Rogue is so strong is purely because Plague of Flames exists.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you don't have access to that particular card, as well as, the token generations, you've just got these big, dumb demons. Rogue's removal can get there a lot better.
Yeah.
Because if there is something like a Coerce, then it can just, with like 1 mana alongside a prep, you can just get through their minions quite easily. And the Warlock is pretty restricted to playing maybe one thing per turn.
Yeah, I also don't like this list. I don't even know what I'm seeing in terms of lists, but the Enhanced Dreadlord, knowing that you're facing some faster decks, do you really want to play this card?
I would hazard no. Alright, there's the Aransi Broodmother again.
That is the Broodmother.
Chilling backwards.
Yeah.
There's a Headmaster Kel'Thuzad, so the discount does not actually happen.
Why? Oh, is he going for the dumbest Kel'Thuzad combo ever? So there's the Kel'Thuzad combo that when Avi and I created a deck right after Duos tournament last time, there's a really interesting combo. I don't know if you know this one, which you can actually pull nowadays a lot more consistently. It's still awful, but you can play Kel'Thuzad, Strongman for 0, and then Shadow Flame it to steal your opponent's whole board. And
that sounds interesting.
It's also as dumb as it sounds.
Yeah, it sounds real dumb. Yeah, or it could just be for, the Kel'Thuzad triple cascading disaster is also a very powerful combo. But Saku looks like he's just going to try and generate some amount of value. With the 2 World Kick Masters and the 1 Thief, he needs to get something going on with this hand. Right. Like this. And, ooh. I think Deep Freeze is a pretty good pickup here, as it's definitely the most high value option, and this hand is really short on value. Don't think you can really do anything with Grand Finale as a rogue. There's no elementals in here.
So Grand Finale won me a match yesterday, which was against Paladin. Generating that card won my match. So I'm a bit more of a fan of the card than usually I would be, but I think I agree with you that it's not a great option.
It is not. And Deep Freeze can actually come out next turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's worth remembering, of course, that Saku doesn't really know what is happening in this Warlock deck.
No, I don't think anyone does.
But it's fair. So we could just see a Deep Freeze come out here if Saku really wants to. Gotta play the coin first, though, Saku. That is important.
Okay, I would just have gone with World Kick if I was going this route, not wasting the prep, but that is fair if you don't care about prep. This is the way to do it.
I mean, there are two in hand, so I guess it's pretty it's not the most important card in Saku's hand, probably the least important. And he's just not even going to throw out the Eviscerate. I think he's valuing using that alongside the World Kick in a later turn. Of course, as the rogue, you always want to have some kind of cheap combo card to be able to efficiently go off.
Sure.
Oh! That's a card that's in this deck.
Yeah, he's playing Void Drinker. I don't know if he added you or not.
No, I am talking about the card that Saku has just drawn.
Oh.
Silas.
Is he actually playing Silas?
Yes, that is a Silas in World Kick Rogue. Something we were not expecting, should we say?
No.
Getting a Void Drinker in exchange for a Taunt Lackey is, it's pretty value.
Yeah. Pretty good.
And with the amount of health that's on the board, 8, 12, 18, 19, Shoebacca's got to hold on to a turn before this Twisting Nether comes down.
I would honestly just drop the Aranasi here and say, instead of dropping this card, because I think this card goes so well with a Twisting Nether next turn.
Twisting Nether. Yeah, I think I would agree with you, but he seems to be pretty worried about the health total here. Rolling Fireball here looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Because if the Twisting Nether does come down the following turn, then there is a pretty impressive World Kick turn, and now the World Kick is unfortunately going to be stranded, but Saku is maybe thinking that there is also the Deep Freeze which can come down, as well as the possibility of a top deck second Eviscerate for lethal.
Yeah.
So there is merit to both lines, I think. And the second Strongman off the top for Shoebacca is pretty important here.
Mm-hmm. You don't have the Cascading Disaster, which does combo well with Houndmaster Kel'Thuzad, or with Headmaster Kel'Thuzad, not Houndmaster. Houndmaster was a better card. Houndmaster Shaw, I really like that card.
So we're looking for the Eviscerate here. It does not find it. Doesn't really find anything particularly good here.
No, I would personally have played the Cobalt. Just see what spells I can get, because there's some decent 1-mana spells that would win you the game.
Yeah, the Kidnapper being one of the only I think the only non-playable combo card to come off the Swindle there. Saku getting quite heavily punished for not playing Prep Swindle alongside the World Kick.
Yeah.
That would have allowed the Strongman to go back to hand. So all of a sudden, it's not looking quite so good for Saku. He's played a 1-2 with 8 mana, which is just never where you want to be. And now the Ticketus is going to come down. See what it burns.
Nothing super important.
Not the most impactful of cards, but still, there is now 14 damage on the board. And Saku really needs to deal with it. And the Deep Freeze is going to come down this turn. A little bit late, but better late than never. But now Shoebacca is very much on the front foot. And he has the Minari Mosher, which can give him a hell of a lot of healing once an Unfrozen Demon is on the board. And the healing keeps stacking up. The second Aransi Broodmother.
Yeah.
And I wonder if this game has just got away from Saku a little bit.
He's going for the Giant and for another Ticketus.
Yep. It all came down, I think, to that turn where Saku just gave all of the initiative to Shoebacca. Could have played the Deep Freeze to get some stuff on the board. Did get very unlucky, mind with the Whirl Kick, Swindle giving him the only non-playable combo card in Kidnapper, but now there is nothing. Saku's going to play it to say, this is what I got.
Yeah, especially with this much healing.
Yeah, the healing's just going to come down, but Shoebacca is very much about to kill him. Might play a Minari Moshi just for the BM heal.
Right.
And that is going to bring it to 1-1.
That's an interesting result. I have to say, I love Shu, but I really dislike this list.
But it did get through.
It did. It did.
And the top deck second strongman was, I think, also pretty crucial there.
Yeah, definitely. Just wasting strongman early was a big deal. I think if he had played the Broodmother, would have been bad for us, because if I'm not mistaken, if he plays Broodmother, we crash our games. Not something I wanted to happen.
Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal, so maybe he was bearing that in mind.
Yeah, maybe he was nice to us. That's really all I can think of. Now we have Shoes Warrior versus the Rogue, and it is also a Bomb Warrior. Everyone's going bomb today.
Except for me. Yeah, but look at this hand for Shoebacca. That is good to be getting on with. This matchup is, it's one of the ones which I think gets as close to 50-50 as you possibly can.
Yeah.
H Replay has it as 51.8 to 49.2%.
Interesting.
So it's very close. But from my personal experience in the matchup, I think one of the most important cards, the one that Shoebacca is really going to be looking for after the Wrench Caliber, is Blastmaster Boom. Because Rogue just doesn't have any healing.
Mm-hmm.
Getting all those boom bots down, even better if you have a way of triggering the Death Rattles on your own turn. But all that damage combined with, multiple weapon hits, and the fact that Whirl Kick is, I think, it's much worse at being proactive than Secret Rogue is. The Whirl Kick varieties they want the other player to kind of do stuff, play things out on the board, so they can react to it. Which is what we kind of see with Saku. Cards like Brain Freeze, they're really bad if your opponent doesn't play any minions.
Yeah. There's one difference, though. I want to talk about Wasteland Assassin, because this card is actually really good into Bomb Warrior. It's just really strong card. I really dislike this play. I don't think you ever take Arcane Intellect here.
Not against a Bomb Warrior, although Shoebacca does not know that it's a Bomb Warrior. He's maybe thinking of, various other varieties of Warrior. The pick might have been slightly different had this wrench come out the previous turn.
Yeah.
But I think the Frostbolt was also a hedge in that direction.
Yeah. I'm mostly thinking about ways to make this Evil Miscreant activate, because you need Miscreant. One of the best cards in the deck.
How about Foxy Fraud?
It's not bad. I would throw it for tempo. I don't think there's any great way he deals with it.
Yeah, I would definitely throw the Foxy Fraud out as well. And then maybe you get a Taunt activated alongside it. It's with no, the Taunt is, I think, very important here for Saku.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
taunting that weapon go focused for a couple turns.
Yeah, taunting your Miscreant is pretty good here. Just make sure you can get a 1/6. That's just annoying. Not that much you can do against it if you're Shu.
Yeah, and then there is that Wasteland Assassin, like you mentioned, which is going to come down and cause some problems for Shoebacca.
Yeah.
Just no really efficient way for Shoebacca to deal with this 1/6 of what's in the hand. Shield Block, Shield Slam only does the 5 damage, so looks like he's just going to go for a card draw turn here.
Yeah, I don't like hitting first, though, because if you got Upgrade, you definitely wanted to play that Upgrade.
Yeah. Oh, and just dealing with some 1/2s for the time being.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if we do not see this Wraithland Assassin come down. Though
He
Edwin
might go for
be-
Edwin.
Yeah, but what cards do you want to play alongside it?
You can backstab your own
Backstab him.
guy.
And maybe give some extra attack to this evil miscreant, so they've got to attack into it again.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
'Cause
Yeah.
it's okay. No,
That doesn't work. That doesn't work.
Whoa. Yep, that just does not work.
Not
Saku-
anymore.
Yeah, Saku thought about it. Canning was obviously still thinking about 3-cost Edwin, but makes the correct play here, though is unfortunately going to be ruined by this Coerce in Shoebacca's hand. And
Yeah.
the upgrade with the cutting class rounds out this turn very nicely for Shoebacca. And Saku's hand is kind of running out. The AI might actually be a good pick here.
Mm-hmm.
He's running out of gas, but those bombs are going to start hitting him very soon. Speaking of which,
Yeah, there it
there's
is.
the first one. 2 remaining in the deck currently. And there's that Silas, which is there.
Yeah, I wonder why that Silas is there.
I'm assuming for the Paladin, it's, a pretty hard target, what is, I think, usually a Coerce in Wild Kick Rogues. And I gotta say, I feel like Coerce is slightly better than Silas.
I agree.
Cost 1 mana.
I mean, you could say
Activates your Wild Kick. And
it's good
reduced
against...
by Foxy Fraud.
Like, if I'm thinking of what card would I play just to target Paladin, there's actually a better spell. Like, I would honestly just run a Sap if that's what I really want to do.
Yeah, no, I was going to agree with you there. And the Wasteland Assassin, which could have come down a couple turns ago, is finally going to come down. Frostbolt's going to stop at least 1 bomb going into the deck, which, that weapon going face would technically set up lethal, with 3 bombs in the deck and only 10 health remaining.
Yeah.
And there is that Blastmaster Boom.
I like the Galakron because it just leaves you really close for lethal soon. Especially
And more
getting that.
It unfreezes your face.
Yes. You can just hit once more.
A nice little aspect of playing any kind of hero card.
Mm-hmm. You're so close. If there's no taunt, Saku is going to lose this one, since we know you can just go Wrench Caliber hero power.
Yep. So it's got to be Well Kick, Evil Miscreant. As Saku must be really thinking, I am about to die. Got to get that Taunt Lackey.
Yeah.
There's another Edwin. That's not a taunt. So this is going to be 2 and 1 to Shoebacca, barring something incredible happening.
Yeah, you would need... I don't even know what you would need to do. Definitely not that. No. Definitely not.
So that's going to be it, and Shoebacca's last deck is, I believe, the Paladin. So maybe we're going to see
the Rogue.
Wait, so Saku banned Paladin?
Yes.
And has Silas in Wild Kick Rogue?
Yeah, this makes no sense to me. I don't get why the Silas is there.
Sorry, I was thinking Shoebacca was the one who had banned Paladin there for a second. Yeah, the Silas makes even less sense, I think, with the Paladin ban, so I think that was... I'm not sure what that was.
No? This leaves Shu's Rogue versus Saku's Paladin and Rogue. Now, the Rogue does not love facing Paladin. I can't see a good reason for you to want that matchup ever, right? Or sorry, the Paladin does not like facing Rogue. The other way around. The Rogue is pretty much fine.
Yeah, Rogue is pretty happy to see Paladins, especially if it's a secret variety of Rogue.
Yeah.
So we just got a good old Rogue mirror. Let's see if Saku can avoid being swept on his Rogue. And that is a Hooked Scimitar. That is a Sneaky Delinquent. This is an aggro Rogue.
This is an aggro Rogue. It's I think you're not actually happy to run into World Kick and Paladin as aggro rogue.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think aggro rogue is pretty unhappy to see a world kick rogue. Basically, I think Saku's a little bit favored here,
Yeah.
though both players do have pretty good hands. It looks like this is the kind of more stealth aggro than the version I was playing, just with the sheer burst.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure if that makes this matchup better or worse. Being able to bank all the damage from stealth minions against a rogue is useful, but Shoebacca's hand, now that he's got the 1-2 drop, is starting to peter out a bit, and he does need something like a Foxy Fraud to make it really work.
Yeah. Foxy Fraud would end
Otherwise-
the game right now.
There is a Swindle activator at the very least.
Okay, that's another swindle. Not attacking for Sage would be an option, but one that he doesn't really consider.
Yeah, I think I like that. It's quite expensive to not bank that 3 damage, and Saku's got a pretty nice questing play, I'd say here. Like we could see the Temple Berserker go into the 3-1 questing, Shadow Step, replay the Temple Berserker to regain the Reborn effect, allow Saku to pretty convincingly take the board at that point, and then have stuck a questing adventurer, which has the potential to really grow out of control if Shoebacca does not have some form of removal for it.
That would be fair. I don't hate the play of just going for the Edwin either. Because you can go coin, Shadow Step, play your cat or your 3-1 again, and then play Edwin.
Alright, so it looks like instead just going to coin Shadow Step the cat. I'm not sure about the use of coin. Looks like he's just trying to get as much damage, as much health on the questing adventure as possible. Which, if this Hooked Scimitar were to become active, would actually be somewhat correct.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the thought process there behind Saku's decision. And the World Kick Swindle is also going to come down here, I would imagine. Getting up to a 7-7.
Can't
and
see
now we're
anything
onto
else.
Yep, and then we've got a good old-fashioned race. And when your questing adventurer is this far ahead, it's ooh. I think gonna see the prep just to bank an extra damage, make it even hard to kill this questing.
Yeah, you could kill your own cat here.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Get another combo card. And Avis is a pretty good one to have got.
Yeah. If you're in a race, Avis is face damage. Face damage wins the race.
Alongside the Perdition's Blade, this is pretty tough. Shoebacca does pick up that Cold Blood right off the top, as well as a backstab. So this questing adventure has just about been dealt with, as has the Well Kick. And now we're back to kind of square one, but Saku did bank 9 damage in the process, and Shoebacca's had to expend quite a few resources in doing so.
Yeah. Taunt Lackey Alert. That card
Yeah,
just...
that's always what you're happy to see, but it doesn't need to be played just now. Getting a 4-drop might just be a little bit better.
I think a 4-drop is
some
better.
Arguments for both. There's another Burrowing Sculpid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about the using the Swindle this turn. I think this was a turn where Shoebacca really wanted to get some minions out, so maybe the Scorpid as well as one of the 3-1 taunts. 3-1 stealth, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking quite a slow line, I would say, here.
I agree. I'm not sure what we're going to see at this point. You could go with an Evolve the Blade, but that just leaves you not in a great position.
Yeah, we could see an evolve and a miscreant.
Honestly, Evis and Miscreant is also fine. Just Evis for 2. Kill his minion. Play the Miscreant.
Remember, you gotta. That's gotta be comboed.
Yeah, the Perdition Blade, not great because it just doesn't set anything up. You're still going to have to trade into the 3-2 if you play it.
We're just seeing a Wasteland Assassin here. I guess the stealth is, pretty nice.
Well,
I would not evolve such a good minion myself. I'd evolve the Reborn side of it, perhaps. But Shoebacca's got himself, I think, a much better looking hand there, but instead going to just go for a secret passage, try and get some more minions out, and does in fact get several cheap ones. Ooh.
yeah, I really don't like this turn by Saku or some of the turns we had before.
Yeah, he's playing a little bit too passively.
Yeah.
I really liked the earlier turns where he was bringing Shoebacca to a race. But when you invite your opponent into a race and then you slow down, you often do lose the race.
Yes. If you're going for the race, you need to race. You need to basically say, I'm going to kill you. That's what Edwin does a lot of times. It's just by saying, I'm going to kill you fast enough that there's nothing you can do.
Yep. And the Cold Blood did put play to that questing, and Shoebacca is still racing, but Saku has slowed down something. Taunt Lucky is pretty nice. We could see a Perdition's Blade here to kill the 3-2.
Yeah, I also just like evolving the 4-2. I would have done that. Trade and evolve.
Yeah, I don't hate the trade and evolve either, but I think I'd like to see the combo effect hit the 3-2 and then just all this stuff go to the face.
Okay.
I think Saku needs to try and set up his own kind of lethal here.
This is lethal. With Ashdong Slayer and Scorpid, or with Plague of Madness. Let's see if this is noticed.
Yeah, it looks like it's been pretty quickly noticed. Yep, the Plague of Madness is going to kill the Taunt, and the Ashdong Slayer is going to allow lethal for this. And the Scorpid Battle Cry is even going to proc off the lethal on the player, which you don't get to see very often. And that is going to be 3-1 to Shoebacca.
Yeah. Let's ask Shu if he's willing to come for a quick interview. Okay, I kind of have a lot of questions on that Warlock, so let's get...
So do I. So do I.
So let's get Shu in here. Hey Shu, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
That
Well
was
done.
quite the match.
It's
Yeah,
interesting because I didn't know what I was playing for 2 of my decks. I copy pasted that Warlock an hour ago, and I thought that Rogue was World Kick Rogue.
You thought that rogue was Rogue. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
you
thought I
didn't
had
intend
World
for
Kick
the
Rogue
aggro
built.
rogue.
No, I did. No, I had aggro Rogue built because I haven't played the game in 3 days.
Fair. That's fair. It happens. I mean...
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, in my match, PWE banned a class I didn't have, and then in one of my players' hero matches just now, somebody forgot to ban a deck. So everyone's just kind of having one of those days, it seems.
Yeah.
It's been a long week. So, well, we had, I think, questions consistently about what was going on with that Warlock deck, but if you just copy pasted it,
I saw that from Vicious Syndicate about an hour ago.
Isn't that
Yeah.
the not recommended list that they said we're posting, but please don't play it? Play the other one, the Galakron one.
Did they actually say that?
Yes.
No, that I didn't. That wasn't the Galakron list. I took the Control Warlock list.
Yeah, they said the Galakron was just better.
Well, I didn't read any of it. I just go, ooh, Warlock, pretty, and took it.
That is why reading is important, kids.
Yeah.
Meh.
Well, reading is overrated.
Yeah. So another question I have is, how happy were you to see that Cold Blood?
Yeah, once I was able to kill off that questing, I was like, all right, I'm actually alive in the game now. Because I
Yeah.
was not winning that race without questing on board.
Yeah. Also, we would say Saku kind of initiated that race and then kind of stopped racing you. So
He would have
It-
won
it
that
put
race,
you in-
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
he kind of slowed down a little bit, and you took advantage of him slowing down pretty well and just smashed him in the face a bunch. I think Lotus, you had another question about the strongman versus the
Yeah, I was wondering why
Aranci.
did you play the Strongman versus the Aranasi Broodmother in the Warlock game against the Rogue? Because I feel like you could have just played the Broodmother for the same effect and saved one more turn, where you would get free Strongman next turn.
Was that on turn 7?
Yes.
Yeah,
I was doing that to corrupt Ticketus.
Okay.
but you would have corrupted Ticketus
Yeah.
with the Twisting Nether Strongman the following turn, because I think you were always going to play the Nether on turn 8 no matter
Oh,
what.
yeah.
At least that was our reading of it.
Yeah.
You did then top deck the second Strongman, so it was clearly planned.
Well, I do thank you for doing, because whenever you play, if you're on stream and you play a Broodmother, it actually crashes the client for anyone who's watching. So you would have crashed Rebob and I by doing that.
Nice. Good to know for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Broodmother is weirdly it appears backwards, so you only see the card back.
Yeah, it's just a really weird card if you're specking. It does a lot of wrong things. So I thank you for thinking about us, even if that wasn't your thought.
No problem.
Good guy, Shoe. Good guy, Shoe.
So Shu, I have a question for you. The mini set is actually
Yes.
coming out. Well, according to a leak that we can't say is official and no one knows if it's true or not, it's coming out soon. What would you like to see? Is there a class you feel like needs to get something fun? Is there a certain deck you would like some support? What would you like to see? What will make you play Hearthstone more?
Probably something to make Druid an actual deck, and something more for Mage that's not just Secret or Highlander.
Okay.
I think Druid now is pretty much untouched, besides meme decks like Highlander and Malygos. Well, Malygos isn't
Yeah.
a meme deck, it's just not great.
It's not so much a meme deck; it's just bad.
Yeah.
Outside of like 1 or 2 hero matchups, it's just terrible.
It's one of those decks that, like, when the stars align perfectly, you can win on turn 5 or 6. But it almost never happens, so you almost always just lose because you're doing nothing until then. But when they work really well. It's just don't.
If this mini set is as impactful as the last one from Galakron's Awakening, it's going to change up the meta for the next a year. Because Galakron's Awakening cards are still good today, like Skipper, Guardian, not Guardian. What's that? Untargetable Druid minion.
Oh, Wing Guardian. That card was really good at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good when you get it from Farragut.
Yes.
Yeah. There's other cards I'm not remembering, but there's.
I mean,
it
we mostly
impacts
just
the
remember.
game a lot.
We mostly just remember Risky Skipper. That card was dumb.
Yeah. It's still one of the best cards in the game, and since forever, I think. So,
We're all
yeah.
just a little sick of it.
Those are some nice wishes. I personally, and I'll ask Rebob as well what he wishes, but before that, I just want to say, I hope they're careful with what they give Warrior and with what they give Demon Hunter. Because you can break those classes way too easily right now.
Yeah.
We only have, 2.5 months-ish until the year changes?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the first set of next year, which is usually around April, is when a lot of things which are very good right now do rotate. So there is going to be a big shakeup. So I'm kind of torn. I do really hope that the cards from the mini set are very impactful, but I'm also kind of worried that if they're so impactful now, like they're so good to be impactful now,
Yeah.
in this quite powerful meta, we would just see those cards for like the next 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, I think something to note here that a lot of people will forget is just this set, Dark Moon Fair, was actually not that strong. It's not that impactful. A lot of the
It has
cards.
some cool cards, but I don't think anything was like, oh wow.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
well-designed set, but there weren't any, like, most of the influential cards are not from this expansion. Other than Foxy Swindle. That's Rogue got the good stuff, but a lot of classes just they didn't get anything from this expansion that's super playable.
I think Priest got a lot of good stuff from this set. The problem is just that Priest is also it just loses against a lot of what's good now.
Yeah.
So it's got the good cards. It's just not good itself against Bomb
Right.
Warrior.
Yeah, and I think Bomb Warrior is just a problem on its own. Whether that becomes wild or standard, it's still going to be a problem. But that being
Also
said,
Matties.
yeah, let me see
We do.
if FaZe is willing to pull her match a bit early.
Yep. So we're gonna have Berserk versus Based.
Yeah,
That'll be fun to watch.
that's going to be quite the match. If you're available, please come to chat. We would love to see you there, Shu. I just want to thank you and Saku for playing on stream. And
Saku did great. He's always
yeah,
a great person to play against.
Yeah. No one will ever have anything bad to say against Saku. Oh, and congrats on clinching the week for your team.
Thank you.
yeah, that is
Always tough playing on stream with the added pressure. So you did a very good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any last second? I don't even know if he's still here, but shoot, any last second thank yous you would like to give?
No, just thank you to my team for helping me prep throughout the season. Thank you for you guys for taking the time out to cast a match, and thank you for Saku for being such a good guy.
Worries.
Beautiful.
It's our
That's
pleasure.
what we like to hear.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Well,
You guys have a good time and enjoy the next match.
thank you.
Thanks very much, man.
I'm sure we will. The next match is looking insane. We're going to have Berserk from F2L versus Basedinc from NoProsHere. So, I'm going to ask you this, Rebob. I know you're completely biased in this match. How insane is this match, and how excited are you right now?
Oh, I'm very excited. This is a very high quality match. Got two of the, I'd say, best players in THL. Based has just been, I think, one of the most consistent players in every series of the past
Yes.
3 seasons.
Yes.
And Berserk is just, he is a pro-only player, but he is very good in that, as well as just being like a ladder god.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
true.
between the two of them, we can expect a really high quality of play. And just looking at the both of their decks.
Yeah, let's take a look. Before we talk about their decks, let's take a look at what classes we're seeing. This is Pro, so just as a reminder for people who don't know, in Pro, you need to submit your deck list before, so it's basically the same format as Masters Tour or most of the matches you watch. But the idea is by submitting your decks before, this is open deck list. So not only we know the classes as we knew for Legacy, you know the exact decks your opponent is bringing. In terms of the classes, Berserk is going with the Demon Hunter, Paladin, Rogue, and Warlock. If I got this correct, or Warrior, sorry, I need to fix the display. Versus Base
Yes.
Hunter, Paladin, Rogue, Warrior.
Yep, so they've both got the Paladin, the Rogue, and the Warrior, with some slight difference in archetypes there. Berserk going for the Demon Hunter, and Basedinc going for the Hunter. So the Hunter for Based is a pretty straight up Highlander Hunter. Several beasts, secret package, Bran at the top. There is a trampling rhino in there. One of the main differences is in the warrior. Berserk has gone for a Silas OTK warrior, while Based has a more conventional, pretty old school Enrage warrior.
Right.
With their rogues, they've both gone for, I think, identical well kick lists. So very similar things there. And they do both have pen paladins with a couple of different inclusions there. So in Based's pen paladin, we see, the Red Skill Dragon Tamer and Amber Watcher package for the extra healing, as well as 2 Hammer of the Narus and Silas Darkmoon, but no Devout Pupils, and a few less 1 health minions for the Salet's Pride to hit. So sacrifices a bit of draw for the extra healing. And as it turns out, with Berserk running a Soul Demon Hunter as his 4th deck, the extra healing might actually come in pretty handy. But in Berserk's Pen Paladin, he has gone for the more draw-heavy approach with Loot Hoarders. There is an Owl in there to maybe give him some extra points in the mirror. While Based has the Silas for much the same reason.
Well, Owl is also good against Edwin.
Owl is also good against Edwin, so it'll be interesting to see what they do ban with the different tests they have. Based might be pretty scared of that Silas OTK warrior, as it will do pretty good work against her own Enrage warrior, against her rogue, and the Silas can make the Paladin matchup.
You mean?
Sorry, I'm getting mixed up.
Yeah, Berserk, I think, it doesn't want to face that Silas OTK.
Yes, Based has the Silas, Berserk has the Enrage. So I think we might see a Silas ban from Berserk.
I would agree with that.
Well, for Based, we might just see the Paladin banned, to be honest. The Owl being an answer for a Rattlegore in her Silas OTK, with it's already a pretty good deck against the Highlander Hunter. And, it's not the best against Rogue, but it's much better against World Kick than it is against Secret. And then the Owl could also do some work against her own Paladin deck. I wouldn't be surprised to see Based ban out Berserk's Paladin.
Yeah, the Paladin also has a really good... the only deck that beats the Paladin is the Rogue, because both the Warrior and the Hunter are not great into it. And especially the Hunter is really not great. The Hunter has a good time against the Rogue, in which case you must have the Rogue go through. And you can actually beat Warrior with Highlander Hunter. It's a fine matchup. Even though you're more aggressive, it's just Zephyrus can do a lot of things that may just make sure that Warrior never gets the board. That's something Hunter sometimes does.
Yeah. So I would add one thing: Highlander Hunter versus Warrior. The one Warrior that Highlander Hunter does not want to see is Enrage Warrior.
Yeah, the one you want to see the least. There. Yes. It's the worst one. You can still keep it out of the board and you can win, but it is probably the one you want to see the least. If it's bombed, you're very happy just because you tend to kill them before their weapon can do enough.
Yeah, especially if you do manage to pull off a Zephyrus Ooze.
Yeah. I'm surprised we're not seeing Zoo here, given that Berserk has been playing so much Zoo. Berserk got to really high legend with it.
Yeah, so this is, I think, one of the big... there's always a kind of conflict of interest when you're playing, when you're, looking for Twitter clout while also trying to play in these kind of series. People kind of know what to expect from you. And I think he's very aware here of the fact that, if he tweets saying, Zoo is the nuts, I love Zoo, People
Yeah.
will expect a zoo.
Yeah. I'm
So-
surprised Base didn't bring some form of aggressive demon hunter, because that does really well into a lot of what Berserk brought.
Yeah,
there's
I mean, there's always a fair amount of guesswork in pro lists,
Yes.
though. You don't know what they might do, and I think from my experiences of playing against Based in pro, she does like just bringing what she knows is good.
Yes.
She's not so much of a counter picker.
No.
I know
No.
that because I once managed to bring 4 Murloc decks against Frost Druid.
Yeah. That's
Um,
that can happen.
she sticks with what she knows is good, and I think these are just the 4 things that she knows is good. We know that Base has been playing a lot of Pen Paladin for as long as it's been a real deck. Rogue is obviously the nuts. Silas Warrior is, I think, seriously underrated as a deck across all of the series.
I think it is. It's HS Replay puts it as the #1 meta deck of the last few days.
Yeah, well, it's so good. It's good against Rogue. It's decent against other warriors which aren't bomb, and versus the kind of aggro decks which are popping up much more, like Zoo. It's the best. I think the best warrior against those in particular, because you just run so many more anti-aggro tools because your combo is so many fewer cards.
Yeah.
Like the ETC having to run the ETC, the brooms, and the rubbish cards, while Silas OTK has to run Silas, which is just a good card in Warrior anyway, and it does have to run the Ash Tongue, which is atrocious, but you only got to run a 29 card deck in order to play an OTK.
Yeah.
So I think you're pretty happy with.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's something interesting about, well, if you look at the recent data of the last few days, Warrior is certainly going out of control in High Legend, and it seems like nerfing every tier 1 class except from Warrior was a mistake.
I would agree with that.
I think you didn't nerf Skipper, you didn't nerf Broom, you did nothing to Warrior. And Warrior is just at such a prime spot. Really, the only deck that beats Warrior is Broom. But if you're bringing ETC, Broom is a 50-50 matchup. Sometimes beat them.
Yeah, that matchup can go any which way, and the I think for these slower warriors, a lot of the Paladin matchup does hinge quite predominantly around Rattlegore.
Yes.
Rather than the combos itself.
Yeah, and
Rattlegore is, I would say the primary win condition for Warrior versus Paladin. Then the actual OTK you play is more a secondary one.
And I think there's one more thing when we're talking about Rattlegore. There's one card that's the best one to question. Rattlegore, which is Iron Beak Cowl. It's definitely the best card there. Just having a way to remove it works really well.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. So the reason we are buying for time is BZRK is not quite ready to play just yet. He is in the midst of a League of Legends game. He wasn't expecting to play early, so we will get there.
Yeah, we're 5 minutes away, so there's enough time for us to chat about a lot of things while getting ready. There's some interesting notes in this Warrior meta, though. I wonder what classes... Well, Paladin is going to be at a good spot, but I wonder if there are other classes that we're not seeing. And again, I wonder if the mini expansion is going to be able to deal with it. So, can the mini expansion print tools that are good enough to deal with the current Skipper meta without making Skipper... or without being a problem when Skipper leaves the meta?
Yeah, I'd quite like to see... Yeah, Warrior's in a really weird spot, because it is so good, and I'd say to a lesser extent this applies to Rogue as well. It's in such a... They're both so good right now, but so many good cards are going to be rotating quite soon. That applies a lot more to Warrior than it does to Rogue, but Rogue has still a fair chunk rotating. So Warrior it needs to get some good cards, so when rotation happens, it's not completely gutted. But at the same time, if you give it good cards now, it will just get even better. So I kind of hope they don't give Warrior any more powerful tools than what they already have. But Warrior's going to be in a pretty rough spot come the rotation and when the
Right.
Hall of Fame. And there have been strong hints that the way that they've done Hall of Faming in the past is not what they're going to do this time around. I think there's going to be some kind of classic reworking, and it'll be interesting to see how that impacts everything. I think next expansion is going to be very exciting.
I think so. Honestly, there's a lot that the game can benefit from leaving. I'm afraid of a few classes if they don't do enough of a rework for a few classes, it's going to be very frustrating. Specifically, Rogue needs a lot, because Rogue is, if the rework works like Priest, where they kind of dozed out a lot of the strong cards in the Priest set, if they don't doze out Rogue, it's going to be a problem. Backstab is still insane, Prep is still insane, Shadow Step's still insane, Eviscerate is still insane. I'm pretty sure Rogue is the only class that has like 10 classic cards still in every single one of its decks.
Remember when Prep used to produce spells by 3?
Yeah, I mean that deck, the deck that led to that nerf, where you would play Raiding Party for 0, that was one of the most absurd things ever.
Yeah, when Miscreant was a 1/5, when Raiding Party could be played for 0, when...
Yeah?
Oh god.
Yeah, you would even play Chef Nomi for Myris. Ah, that was so disgusting.
That was a pretty horrible time. BZRK has just told me that he's got his ban in, so we can at least talk about that.
Sure, let's take a look at what the bans are for this match. This is going to be... See if it's displaying yet, and we don't have it here. We don't have the access to the fast stable anymore, so we're going to need to wait a little bit until we find out what it is, but it's not going to be too long.
I'm just going to see if I can access it after I clear my cache, because I have found that is often a problem.
Yeah, I usually use a different browser to open it, because sometimes that actually works. We do have it. Base ban Berserk's Rogue, while Berserk banned Base Warrior.
Okay, so the Silas Warrior has been banned, kind of as we expected.
Right.
But Based's gone for the... I guess it was a toss-up between the Rogue and the Paladin. And it's like Based's just gone for, the thought being Rogue is kind of nuts in general. It's got good matchups. Yeah. I think Rogue actually makes more sense for a ban if she was expecting the Silas Warrior to be banned. Of her 3 remaining decks, the Paladin, the Hunter, and the Rogue, there's 2 unfavorables and a mirror for her there. So getting rid of the Rogue does make some amount of sense.
I think I would have liked to see a Warrior ban even. The Warrior ban, it's bad for your Paladin, but your Paladin is in such a sweet spot that I would understand instead. That being said, I think they're starting to queue up. What do you expect to see as their first deck?
I expect them both to just play something at random, to be honest. I'm not sure that either of them give too much thought to Q order.
Q order is a big debate because some people think it matters, some people think it doesn't.
But the truth of it is, it matters as much as your opponent thinks it matters.
Yes. Yeah.
If your opponent thinks it doesn't matter, then you need to consider that it doesn't matter because they will not put any thought into their Q order and they'll just pick something at random. But if they do think it matters, then you need to think it matters. So it gets very, very complicated very fast. Of course, there is the whole thing with Conquest of just like if one deck is favored across the board, do you play that first to just get the early win out the way, get some confidence going, or do you try and win with your worst deck first? Do you try and snipe a particularly hard matchup or a particularly easy one? There is a lot that you can say, but we have got into the first game, and Berserk is leading with his what looks like an all golden Enrage Warrior, and based with the Well Kick Rogue.
Okay. That's a nice match to start. The Enraged Warrior is very favored into the road, so
yeah. So Berserk will be happy to hit this particular matchup, and it's just a matter of winning the game itself. It's not very hard to say you're favored, but then you need to actually win it. Base tosses away the entire hand, although there was a questing adventure in it. There was a lot of rubbish. Well, Berserk will be looking to throw away this full hand as well. Bloodsworn Mercenary Battle Rage not coming online until much later.
right.
The Quartermaster, would you say that's worth keeping, or do you need to look for something a bit more early?
I don't think so. I think you look for Ankar, you look for Sky Raider. I don't think
Speaking
you look
of
for.
which,
Yeah, there's a Sky Raider.
there are 2 Sky Raiders.
There's a good start for Baze with just the cat into Coin Miscreant.
Yep, that's something you do like to see. Berserk will be hoping for, I would imagine, Sky Raider to give him something like the Bloodsail Freebooter, just to continue leveraging some advantage on the board. But there is the possibility of just playing the Armsmith out for tempo, as it's a pretty tricky minion for Rogue to deal with without playing an Eviscerate, but it does severely hamper your possibilities to play Battle Rage later on. And if we do see an Anchor or a Reaper's Scythe come down, that Horde Pillager may just do something.
Right. It's not a bad card. Horde Pillager, you would never run it in Enrage. It doesn't really make sense. But it is a strong card overall, and it can do a lot.
Oh yeah, if you get it off the Sky Raider, you're generally pretty happy. Another weapon that it could bring back is the 3/2 sword, which is definitely not a fiery war axe from the Sword Eater. So
No.
Berserk, it will be pretty happy with how this game has started for him. And Base she's got a lot of individually good cards, but just no real way of kind of getting ahead on the board.
Well, that Coin One Thief, I think, makes it a lot better, because you can just make a huge quest.
And Shadow Step.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of the ways you beat this deck is by just going crazy early.
Yep.
If you can go crazy with the
questing is the way to do it.
Yeah.
And that's a fireball.
Yeah.
We're all of a sudden looking at something getting really out of control for Based.
Berserk is really scared right now, I would say, because this is the kind of thing that can end the game at any moment.
It is. So we could see a fireball just deal with this 2/5 straight away, send 9 to the face, and it's looking rough already.
Yeah. So you can clear this by basically throwing everything in.
Yep.
Or yeah, you do need to throw everything.
Yep, so the weapon's back up, and the questing adventure is dealt with, but Berserk is now down to 15, but things have just now been reset, and there's a lot of based kind of resources were developed into that questing adventurer, so she's now back to kind of square one.
Oh, this is also really good into Enrage Warrior. Just taunts.
Yeah, just taunts. Just a lot of taunts.
Yeah. Some Rage Warrior not looking really hot here. You get a second, another Sword Eater, but...
Yeah, that is the third Rusty Sword that we have seen. What Berserk is really looking for is Risky Skipper. Risky
Yes.
Skipper is what unlocks this hand entirely.
But there's no Risky Skipper yet.
Yeah, and no Ankar either.
No.
And that is an Eviscerate, which is, I think, what Basedinc is liking to see. Just more damage.
Yeah.
Could see that. Could see that. We could see a Prize Plunderer to try and develop more tools. We could just see an Eviscerate to the face. Perdition's Blade, yet more damage.
Getting that Prize Plunder in. It's a way to go through. Without a Risky Skipper, this looks so hard to deal with. Not much that could be done. You can play Korkron and trade twice, but
It doesn't feel great.
no.
And the thing is, if you do Korkron, you make those trades, you have to use the Bloodsworn Mercenary, and then the possibility for gaining armor on a following turn, if Skipper does come off the top, is just completely gone. And it looks like Berserk is thinking that he needs that Risky Skipper if he's going to come back into this game.
Right.
And I think I agree with him. That is a draw. I don't think there is a lethal line here for Based.
You can always try Secret Passage. I kind of like Ancestral Guardian here. I would personally go Ancestral Guardian, Hooked Scimitar.
Yeah, I think I like that a lot as well.
It's just a very aggressive line, but at this point, I'm totally fine going aggro. This is also a really interesting line. Going for extra lackeys, extra spells. Evo is the thing, but your hand is full.
Yeah, Evo Secret Passage is always a pretty cute play to make, but Based is just thinking, this hand wins me the game if I just don't die.
Yeah.
And looks like she's right.
Yeah, there's
just doesn't really have much going on here, and cash into Ankar only leaves him with
3 mana.
3 remaining mana, which is not really enough to do anything at all.
No,
Does clear, does leave 2 damage on the board. But yeah, this is going to be lethal for Basedinc.
Yeah, this is
Hooked
Hooked
Scimitar. Pretty unfavored matchup out of the way early on.
Yeah, and getting the Rogue out, pretty important. The Rogue doesn't really like facing Demon Hunter. It's still one of the matchups that Rogue doesn't want to see. And this is pretty good for Based.
Yeah, so, and also crucially, so with her Warrior banned and the Rogue getting through, the Enraged Warrior really needs to hit the Hunter now.
Yes.
Because the other matchup, the Paladin, is just so bad.
It's really rough. Don't want to play that matchup if you can avoid it. Now, what are we going to see here? Do you just keep the Warrior? Well, if you hit the Paladin, you're in a bad shape. In fact, with the Rogue ban, that Paladin, the Paladin is so well positioned right now. The worst matchup the Paladin has is the Paladin.
Yep. So Berserk could quite happily go for his own Paladin here.
Yeah.
But Berserk's going for the Warrior as well, and Based has gone for the Paladin. So the Warrior's going to have to get through this as well.
And that's a pretty decent start. You don't have first day of school yet, or Aldor attendant, but you do have a really good 2 and a really good 3, which are typically what you're looking. Seems like there's some minor issue with one of the players just failing to connect, or
okay, that is resolved.
Okay. As always, Blizzard's client, if you don't know, it's a little bit buggier than we would wish, so note that it can do things like this.
Yeah, and Based picks up the second Salet's Pride. So that is going to draw guaranteed both the broomsticks and both the penflingers.
Right.
As Based is only opting for 6 1-health minions in her deck. So if she is to draw any of the brooms or penflingers, some draw from the prize will be lost.
Mm-hmm.
If she does not, then she is power cycling through this deck.
Mm-hmm.
And Berserk he's really not doing well with these early game draws on the Enraged Warrior.
No, 110. That card is so good in basically every matchup. Oh, there it is. Just get the 110.
Right off the top, makes it a 1/7.
Yeah. The Head of Vidal is really nuts here if Base wants to go for that. Makes it pretty much like a bad minion to copy, which was probably what Berserk wanted to do.
Yeah, but Based is just going for maximum damage onto this Warmall Challenger.
Yeah.
Get down an Elder Attendant to get the first reduction on these Librams. There is still the Salet's Bride, Blessing of Wisdom, Penflinger next turn.
Yeah.
And Based is pretty rewarded if you could see how the hands were going. If that was a 4/7 Divine Shield, which Berserk was able to copy, that would be huge.
Yeah, that probably ended the game. Or, well, it didn't end because this was Libra Paladin, but it would be a lot of trouble.
Yeah, there would be a lot of pressure there. The Libram of Justice would be able to, promptly deal with them both. Might struggle with it for a turn or two with the Divine Shield. But Berserk has a really, really clunky hand here. It looks like he's just going to go for it anyway. Just go for pure tempo. So one thing to note is Berserk is on the coin. So there is the possibility of Grommash Hellscream coin in a Rage Bloodsworn Mercenary. That does 24 damage from hand, assuming that there is not a taunt in the way, of course.
Right.
And Based is running a list which has significantly reduced taunts, as the two of the cards which are cut to make way for this dragon package are the Devout Pupils, which are just not in here.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting turn so far here from Based. Going for the Penflinger to try and...
Yeah. I wasn't expecting this play.
Yeah, I feel like Based maybe started the turn with the Penflinger and then had a realization that something didn't work quite the way she wanted it to. Like the mana was one off or something like that.
Yeah. There could just drop an Armorsmith. Armorsmith is not that important in this matchup, so just dropping it wouldn't feel bad at all, I think.
No, I think that's what he's thinking about. I think he's also thinking about, does he want to coin Evil Quartermaster, or does he want to hold onto the coin for that Grommash play in the later game?
Right.
A lot to think about. Obviously, he doesn't have Grommash or Battle Rage or anything of that ilk in hand, so playing towards such a out, which is such a long way off, is what he will be thinking about there, and that is a pretty impactful draw for Based. The Eldor Truthseeker is going to discount this Libram of Hope pretty effectively. Berserk does have a Barov to deal with one Libram of Hope, but if a second one were to come down with the way this hand is panning out, would be pretty tough.
Do you play the Libram of Justice now?
Yeah, and Based is valuing the armor not coming down over everything else, it seems.
I understand the goal right now being to get this Amber Watcher down. That card just can do a lot.
Oh, and there is a... Berserk sees his first risky skipper entire series.
Yeah, they were in the deck indeed.
They were just hidden. And there is a skipper, a second skipper, an armor smith, and a battle rage. So that Grommash out is now looking a lot more likely for Berserk to attain. It's worth noting that Based is on 17 health already.
Yeah.
And this Red Scale Dragon Tamer does not draw anything. And the Penflinger is just going to be thrown out.
I think that's fair.
So it seems like all of a sudden, Based is really feeling the heat here.
This is a lot of draw. A lot of times what you
is.
need is to draw with this.
Yep. Now, what he really will be looking for is Grommash is another weapon, like that Reaper's Scythe. We could see the Shield of Honor go onto this 2/4 just to push a bit extra damage and prevent Berserk from overdrawing a card. Not overdrawing is very important when you still have Grommash and double Inner Rage in your deck and you're looking to assemble these burst damage combos.
Yeah. You
And,
could also just go
banking the
for
damage
Kor'kron.
now.
Kor'kron is also a play. It's not as much damage, but something if you're afraid they're going to pull the combo faster than you, or going to just out heal faster than you. Don't hate the shield.
I'm a fan of this Shield of Honor coming out.
I
Just
like
bank
it.
as much damage now as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Looks like the base is going to be forced into a pretty early Libram of Hope. We might see a Broom alongside it.
Have to do it. Which isn't great.
Yeah,
Main way to deal with everything.
yeah, and that is crucially the second Broom.
Yeah.
So we could see maybe a Lord Barov come down here just to deal with this, and then just develop some extra minions, maybe alongside like Evil Quartermaster, double Sky Raider alongside it.
I think this match
pushing face.
I think Baze is paying for that misturn with Libram of this. That turn was very weak, and by doing that, just all the turns have been weaker ever since.
Yeah, I think I would agree.
It's not the worst thing to let the Warrior go, because the Warrior doesn't have a guaranteed match against the Hunter, etc. It's not amazing, but you don't want it to be this easy.
Yeah, you'd in Conquest, losing one of your favorite matchups is just never a position you want to be in.
Yeah. That being said, the Paladin has really high chances of winning the match. I wouldn't be as worried about it as I would be.
Oh wow, look at all these pirates.
That's a lot.
Yeah, those are some good pirates. Getting a 1-cost Dread Corsair as well as a South Sea Deckhand, which could maybe pop something like a Divine Shield.
Yeah.
And, like, this is what I think you were talking about with the play. Based has basically been restricted to playing 1 card per turn.
Yes.
And this Selhut's Pride is just going to draw 1 card, the second Penflinger. Battle Rage is going to draw another 2, and Berserk is getting really close to those burst combo kind of ranges.
Yeah, I mean, there's already a Kor'kron Elite Inner Rage. This might be enough to lethal right now. Just, if there's not enough healing or taunts put in the way, that's certainly enough.
Yep, and base just has no kind of proactive plays. Like, this Lady Liadrin will get a Libram of Hope back, but it doesn't do a great deal else, because that Libram of Hope still isn't playable alongside the Liadrin. There's still 1 Aldor Attendant which needs to be played for that.
So, I don't want to do math, but is there lethal here?
It's really hard to see when everything is upside down. With only 1... so we can get 2 6-attack Kor'krons, so that will not be enough, I don't think, unless they can both go face. Which might be possible with the Blood Boil Brute coming into the hand. Yes, that would cost 3. So that and one of the 1 attack minions can go into the 4/6. So both Korkrons and the weapon can go face. So that is going to be lethal. So we've seen 2 unfavorable wins so far in this series.
Yes.
Very unpredictable.
Yeah, very hard series. So hard fought.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you see when these really kind of high-level matches.
Yes.
Players know exactly what they're playing towards.
Yes.
And when it's like a deck like Enrage Warrior, which someone like BZRK has been playing for literally this entire calendar year, against Brim Paladin, a deck which people have been playing for 2/3 of this calendar year,
That's true.
That matchup is one which has been played out time and time again.
Yeah.
Through 2020, and now we've got ourselves a Paladin Mirror. And we'll get to see how the 2 very divergent builds of the deck can play out. And what's your opinion on that? The Dragon package versus the Loot Hoarder package.
I like card draw. I think the Dragon package in the mirror, it's not great because you want the most draw possible. So the Loot Hoarders are better because they give you access to your better stuff. I also think Allura is really good in the mirror, and a lot of times for the Dragon package, you need to cut Allura.
Yeah, I'm kind of for cutting Allura in at the moment. I'm never entirely sure about it. Even when I'm not running the Dragon package, I like cutting it because I think there's a few too many whiffs. I think what Based was going, wow, look at that hand for BZRK.
Yeah.
Prize Plunderer is, I imagine, pretty good in this deck in the later turns.
Yeah, it's
But
basically a better Penflinger.
Yeah, but double Aldor Attendant and a first day of school and an owl for when the Librams start coming down, that is quite something.
Yeah, that's really hard to recover from.
Yeah, and Based just going for the tempo Prize Plunderer straight away. And that is a naked Penflinger which is gonna die to this Pyro first day at school.
Yeah.
I'm
Really
not
tough
sure
start.
about that. Yeah, that is the second time we've seen Based go for that naked Penflinger play. I'm just not sure how I feel about it.
I did like it last game. I do not like it this game because I think just having the Spyro to deal with it at this point, how do you ever stop BZRK?
Yeah, this is already spiraling.
Yeah.
For Based.
There's also already a Libram of Wisdom in hand, 2 of them. I don't think there's anything you can do anymore. I think this game is over.
It's very early to be calling that, but yeah, it's looking rough. So we can see Penflinger, Libram, Penflinger, Libram, play 2 1-drops, have cleared Basedinc's board, as well as pushing 8 damage to the face.
Yeah, anything Based plays is very easy to deal with right now. I don't hate that.
No, so 9 damage to the face. So 1 Penflinger goes to the 2/3, and 1 goes to face. I think the way of doing it. It just depends on where the Librams go, whether they go in the Pyromancer or they go elsewhere. Just so long as the minions both get killed. Yep, I like this way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Stack all the damage into the Pyromancer. Or indeed this way. And just getting aggroed down here. Got these 2 Amber Watchers, but as we saw in the previous game, they're very slow and clunky.
Yeah.
Like, this 4/6 is dying to this Pyromancer, which has so far killed 3 minions.
Yeah.
And then BZRK just gets 2 more Librams to go for 2 more Penflingers.
Double Aldor is... I've been saying that Aldor is broken as well. Just because as a 1-mana 1/3, it can do so much in the early game so fast. It wins games. Whenever you play this into Libram or double this, you're just winning very fast if nothing is done.
Yeah, we rarely see a 1-mana 1/3 which does not see competitive play.
Yeah, it's very rare. They've broken the game so many times. It's just really crazy. It's a very good stat line, and giving it anything positive, especially something that's this positive, breaks the game. This was
Yeah.
already good as a 2/3. A 2-mana 2/3 was fine. It wasn't great, but it was fine.
Yep, so it looks like we might just see a couple more 1-drops come down. So long as this second Libram gets played and the Penflinger returns to the hand, I'm happy with this play. Looks like that's what's going to happen. And Basedinc is just getting aggroed down here.
Yeah.
With no kind of Pyromancer of her own in the list, making the comeback is just really hard here. And I think, is this Owl lethal?
That owl, you can go Flinger. I don't think it is.
2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 with the coin. Yeah, it is 1 off lethal. So
You
then
could.
the question becomes, what do you do as you do not have lethal? Allura coin is a potential way of starting.
Yeah, Allura Flinger coin is really good.
Yeah, Allura Flinger coin, if you get a Libram of Justice, is I believe lethal.
Yes.
But as the Flinger's gone this way,
Saving the coin, which is also fair.
yeah, I don't hate it.
No.
And it would have been lethal.
Yeah. It's a really strong move.
Yeah. One thing I
Nope.
will say though is BZRK is a very slow player.
Yes.
And this is a deck where you want to start your turns a little bit earlier. I get a little bit nervous when the clock is ticking quite that much when you've got several of these actions to do, especially when you're playing Allura and you need to adjust your play according to what comes down.
Right.
3, 5, 6. Yeah, so BZRK is just going to continue clearing the board.
Well, this
while
should be
sending these
lethal.
pings to the face.
Is this not lethal?
The Libram went on the Loot Hoarder, so I don't believe it is. I think that is in fact a missed lethal.
That is for
Several
sure a miss
times.
lethal. Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, this is just a really extended form of BM. It is still lethal.
Is
BZRK
it?
looked. Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah,
I thought it wasn't.
That it would have been if the Penflinger had just gone face there, or the Broom had not been played.
Or if he
I don't
buffed
think it's
anything
gonna
but the
make-
Hoarder.
Yeah, that has to go down as a missed lethal for sure. But in this exact circumstance, it doesn't really make an ounce of difference.
Well, there are ways it would.
Yeah, no, in this particular instance, but it was definitely an error.
If there's a broom coming out of this first day of school, that would make a difference.
There is not.
No. Nope.
Yeah, so that's just going to be a lethal. Hungry Crab is not going to do it.
And super strong play gets BZRK a win.
Yep, so that is 2-1 to BZRK. Of course, worth noting that this is the deciding match of the series in F2L versus NoProsHere. F2L are 12-10 up, so this guarantees them at least a tie.
Yeah.
And Berserk has 2 games to seal a win, which,
Right.
as things stand, would put them in 3rd place in the Pink Conference.
Right. Now, really strong start by Based in this match. We now have the Paladin versus the Demon Hunter with the Aldor. Aldor into Hand of Vidal is ridiculous. It's just so good. So good.
Yeah, the only time it is slightly worse is when you are going second against the Demon Hunter. If you have that 1-2 going first against the Demon Hunter, it is almost insurmountable. But going second, especially with that Soul Shear in hand, that is when the Demon Hunter can claim some amount of foothold. And when we look at Berserk's individual deck list, he does run a single copy of Consume Magic, as well as 2 One-Makers to find additional copies of Consume Magic, which is, I think, crucial in this particular matchup. If the Demon Hunter starts cutting those particular cards, that's when it gets unfavored.
Right. There's an issue here, though, that even if it's double Consume Magic, Baze is bringing the Dragon list. The Dragon list, a lot of people don't love it, but it is certainly a better list against Demon Hunter. And there's the second attendant.
Yeah, and one thing that Berserk does not have, he only runs a single copy of Relentless Pursuit, so that can make... Often in this matchup, you want to go for the kind of Il'gynoth OTK if you can't get the additional pressure down. But one thing where the Dragon list does kind of suffer more is it does have a lot less card draw.
Right.
And getting towards your power cards, like the Libram of Hope in particular, that is by far the most important card.
Right.
It can be kind of an issue.
The hammer is also pretty good because it's just a 6/6 taunt. And yeah, Demon Hunter can easily get over that, but there's just a lot of stuff you can keep doing.
Oh yeah. I would agree, but you know, the Hammer of Nanaru does come at the cost of the Devout Pupil, which is, I'd say, a better card against Demon Hunter in particular, because when the Demon Hunter does not run a Penflinger, they struggle with those Divine Shields more than anything else.
Yeah, that's fair. So the question is, do you silence the Salhead's Bride?
If Berserk had got his second Consume Magic from that One-Maker, I would say yes. If not, then no, because that is both One-Makers played. That is his only Consume Magic.
Yes.
And there will always be a good target for Consume Magic in this matchup. But he's actually going to go for it.
Yeah, I think
that with base hand the way it is, that has actually been a really good move.
Yeah, stopping some draw is really important, and this is a way you do it.
Yeah, with one Amber Watcher already in hand, the Dragon Tamer is now cut off as a form of draw as well.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to see Coin Hammer here.
Yep, I'm a fan of the Coin Hammer. Get ahead on board. The Lapidary Hero Power is going to deal with it, and then that's going to go into a double jump Skull on the following turn. So it's still a fairly good position for Berserk to be in, and Base really needs to hit card draw, because this hand is not doing anything. Aldor Trueseeker is a fantastic card to hit here.
When is it a bad card to hit?
I mean, that is true. It is so good.
So good. I don't know that I like this Libram of Justice a lot. It's fine, I guess.
It's not the best card against Hald. against a Demon Hunter, especially when you do not run Wild Pyromancer.
Yeah.
You just don't have any ways to kind of synergize with it. And Berserk's going to get an Outcasted Skull, guaranteed with the double jump. Gets a discounted Bladed Lady, Twin Slice, and unfortunately hits the only Soul Fragment remaining in his deck.
Yeah.
That is quite unfortunate, and Based does get a Libram. So this Penflayer can finally start doing anything.
Pretty much.
She has seen both one-cost spells from Wand Makers as well as the Consume Magic, so she doesn't need to worry so much about leaving a Libram on the board, which is what you often need to do against matchups where you're worried about silence effects.
Right.
And yeah, just mounting a lot of pressure of her own.
Yeah, the Demon Hunter, we know there are going to be some Bladed Ladies right now, but that Eldrazi Warblades is so strong.
Yeah, that is huge, because with the Chaos Strike Twin Slice, that is a Kane Sun Fury as well. So we can see both these Bladed Ladies, I don't know why I struggle so much with that, come down.
It's a hard one.
And all of a sudden, all of that pressure that Berserk was facing down has just gone. And, you know, there is the Silas remaining in Base's hand, but after that, there's nothing.
Yeah.
So we can see these Bladed Ladies, one of them gets stolen, then crash into each other, removing one more board in that way. But when you look at the value in each player's hand,
right, silencing that draw was so major this time.
Oh, and that is a top deck skull.
Yeah, when you have no soul fragments in your deck to mess you up.
Right, so we can see a 0-cost Twin Slice, Hero Power, Mana Feeder, and then just deal with this Silas, keep the board clear, heal up again, and then the Marrow Slicer Lapidary Militia stuff can come down. And with where Blessing and Wisdom comes in the hand, that is card draw, but it's completely useless when you have no cards on the board.
Right.
And no Broom.
Yeah. You can buff your opponent's card. Get one draw out of him.
Oh, more Soul Fragments are going to be coming into the deck. And that Militia is juiced.
Yeah. Well, you can go with the Barov and sacrifice your Penflinger to just clear everything.
Interesting that Berserk is keeping the health on these 3/3s rather than getting an extra 2 damage to the face. Libram of Hope is one card that they will certainly be looking for. But
you can clear.
Just the... Yep. But then the Penflinger is gone as well.
Yes, you're going to have to lose your Penflinger. Which isn't what you wanted to do. I don't know how much I like losing my own Divine Shield. But it's better than the alternative.
Yeah. This was, I think, the only line available for Based.
Yeah. I would have liked dropping the Libram just as an additional spell.
It looks like Berserk's thinking about a tempo Il'gynoth here.
We know it's actually not that bad right now.
Yeah, well, he has the information that one of Based's 2 cards is a Libram of Wisdom.
Yeah.
And as we can see, the Blessing of Wisdom is the other card. So Hammer of the Naru is going to have to come down just to put something on the board.
Yeah. Eldrazi Warblades would be lethal here. I'm pretty sure.
Yes. I think Marrow Slicer is also lethal.
Should be.
Yep, with the extra 2 damage from the Il'gynoth effect, it is exact lethal with both second slices, and that is going to be 3-1 to Berserk.
That's a Paladin sweep. I don't think we expected it to go this route at all.
We most certainly did not, and we really saw the Lotus, the weaknesses of the dragon list in particular.
We did. I think so.
Having so much less card draw is what I think led to the sweep there, because every game it seemed Berserk was able to just keep as many resources as possible in his hand while pressuring. So Base was not able to refill her own hand while she used her own resources, and then she just ran out of cards in every game pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's have Berserk join us right now for a quick interview.
Yep.
Okay, congratulations on your match, Berserk.
Hey, thank you.
Congrats. You're not being kicked off the team anymore.
Good to know.
Yeah, that was. we were just saying. We think the biggest deciding factor in that game was. What are your opinions on the dragon paladin list?
I personally haven't played with it too much, honestly. When I saw it, my gut reaction to it initially was that it wasn't as good. So I just never really played with it too much. I'm not too sure what the stats say. I think in the mirror, it's definitely worse. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But as far as how it fits into a lineup, I don't think I have enough experience.
Yeah, was our initial feeling upon looking at it, I don't think either of us were too familiar, was we thought that the matchup where it would really get to shine would be Demon Hunter, but it seemed like you were just able to exhaust all the resources there.
Well, the consume magic on the Sawhead Sprite was super major, and I'm sure you realized it.
Yeah, definitely. I think DH versus Soul Demon Hunter versus Libram Paladin is a matchup that I have a lot of experience with because it was a really, really important matchup at the last Masters Tour. So it's a matchup that I feel pretty comfortable in, and having 2 silences with the Ironbeak Owl, I felt like covered some bases, both in terms of running into rogues and running into paladins. To be frank, I made some pretty serious mistakes in more than one game. So you might think that the deciding factor was the paladin, but I don't know. I can't really say that I feel like I deserve to win some of those games given some of the plays I made.
Yeah, I mean, I think the missed lethal in the mirror was. I don't think there was like maybe a less than 1% chance that would actually have some kind of consequence because you were so far ahead at that point.
Right. Well, I don't know. Just in general, playing pretty sloppy. I didn't hero power on the turn I played the Panthera, and that allowed the Aldor attendant, the 1/3, to kill my Lapidary after he played the Libram of Equality or whatever. So that was a pretty big mistake. I don't know. There were a lot of mistakes. I not too proud of how I played that, but somehow managed to win it, I guess.
Fair. I mean, to be fair, my opponent in my legacy match earlier banned a class I didn't have. So I've been saying everyone seems to be having a pretty
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's a Sunday.
yeah,
Everyone
it's-
seems to have had a long week. We excuse it, you know.
I really liked Based's lineup. I thought that Based brought a really cool lineup and was favored statistically.
yes.
I just managed to capitalize on the Paladins. Basically, the fact that it had the dragon package, like you guys said, it just sort of lacked a little bit of
Yeah.
draw, and it also seemed a little top heavy to me with 2 hammers.
Yeah, 2
Yeah.
hammers, 2 Ember Watches. She reached a lot of positions where she could basically play 1 card per turn,
Yeah,
and that's not really a position I think you really want to find yourself in.
yeah.
With that, we've just reached on stream the point where you got the double bladed lady for 1 mana, and that was quite a swing turn.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a cool turn because I could have just played it for 6 mana to take the board, right? Because she had the just the 4/6, but
Yes.
I decided to play the skull to try to accumulate resources for a swing turn. I guess that's kind of an example of a decision point where I feel somewhat comfortable in the matchup, just having
Right.
played it
Yeah.
so much in the past.
And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
you did feel super smooth while playing it. Like, I didn't sense any moment that, especially with the Demon Hunter, it felt like a deck where you knew what your aims were, what your goals in the match were, and kind of how you were going to reach that win.
Yeah, I in the while playing the Paladin, I got very nervous with how long you leave turns before you start executing actions.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a problem with roping turns with the Paladin, and I'm not trying to make excuses, but I think that might have been part of the reason I missed lethal on that one turn
Sure.
where I played the owl and then I was 1 mana short and realized after the fact I think I could have just hero powered and would have won the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paladin's definitely one of those decks where you kind of have to start doing things before you're entirely sure where the rest of the turn is going to go, just because the animations take
Right.
such a long time.
And
Yes,
Paladin
I would agree with that.
the fact that Broom is so powerful also gives so many possible decisions. It's one of those decks that most of the decks right now are fairly straightforward on what you're going to do. There are basically 2 or 3 plays you can opt per turn. Paladin has like 50 sometimes because there's so many routes you can go with flingers. It's like, do I fling and then play this spell and then fling again, or do I fling and then play a 1-drop? And
Right.
Oh yeah,
it's
there was
so tricky.
a potential lethal spot the turn before you'd miss lethal. If
So I
you
missed
had
lethal twice.
well, no, you missed lethal if
Yeah.
in the scenario that Allura hit Libram of Justice.
Oh, yeah, I considered that, and then I thought to myself, it's just so unlikely I'm not going to play to
Yes.
it, and then it actually ended up hitting the Libram, and I was like, oh, great.
That
Yeah.
happens. You still don't want to play to those outs because, yeah, they'll happen 1 in 10 times, but you don't want to risk the punishment.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it was pretty unlikely. But I think that just the point you brought up about the Paladin, it's becoming more and more interesting to me the more I think about it, because it doesn't actually seem like her deck runs any less draw than mine. But the fact that her draw with the red scales was a tutor almost seemed a little detrimental,
Right.
in that
Yeah.
sometimes you don't want the dragon, right? You would rather draw something else. So that's kind of an interesting point I hadn't really considered.
I mean, the Salax is also a tutor, but it's a tutor of much better cards.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Room. Like what we kind of saw with the dragon was that it very rarely got played. And like if it's not being played in the Demon Hunter matchup, I'm not sure what matchup it's particularly strong in.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think that part of what makes healing good in the meta right now is that most of the heal cards heal and do something else, right? Like Apotheosis will often heal and it'll clear, or Skipper will heal and clear the board and draw your deck. But
Right.
Red Scale Dragon Tamer, it's not
It's just a
not.
thing.
Yeah, it's not scammy, and it's like too fair, you know. It's
Yeah,
a little too fair.
yeah. You got to play some broken stuff right now.
Right.
Yes.
You need heal cards that summon 8/8s with Divine Shield and Taunt. I mean, that's the heal that you need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you feel pretty smart when your tempo Il'gynoth was lethal?
I felt relieved. Honestly, at that point, I had made so many mistakes in that game and like in the previous games that I was like, please don't let this be another mistake. And so when it worked out, I was just like, oh, good. I finally made a play that was like not didn't end up punishing me. Yeah,
Fair.
I was glad that worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, congrats, and congrats on winning the week for F2L.
Yeah.
Very happy about that.
Congrats on winning the week. One question I have, and this is just a fun question. There are rumors that the mini set comes out this week. What would you like to see in the mini set?
What would I like to see in the mini set? I would love to see a direction for Warrior when Skipper leaves, because right now it seems like Bomb Warrior is really the only alternative, and I don't like imagining a meta where the only viable Warrior deck is Bomb Warrior.
Oh, but
So,
Branch Caliber's rotated out.
oh,
So
that's
there are
right.
no viable
They're
directions.
not.
Oh, okay.
Warrior's just dead.
Well, okay, fair. In that case, I think it would be cool if they could find a way to give Shaman a good level of balance. I think Shaman has historically been a difficult class, and it's either really good or really bad. And I think it's been a while since there's been a Shaman deck that was sort of nicely in that green zone between OP and unplayable. And so that would be cool to see.
Sure. Yeah. I agree. That would be really awesome. Do you want to
Yeah.
thank any of your teammates, anyone in particular?
Yeah, shout out to Rescue for helping me practice a little bit the other day. And shout out to Based, I guess, just for being a great opponent. And I just want to emphasize again, I think her lineup was like really, really a cool lineup. It caught me by surprise. I thought it was awesome. So yeah, shout out to her for that lineup.
Awesome. Well,
Okay.
I guess this is our show for today. So I
Yep.
want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who played today. Berserk, Saku, Shu, and in our first match we also had AgentPWE. I want to thank my two co-casters who joined me today, Rebobson and Basedinc. Thank you very much for coming.
Who also both played.
Yes, who also both played. I mean, those were some amazing matches. I'm very glad we were able to get all of them on stream. If you would like to play on stream as Schoolstone, you can always DM me or NHLNJ fan or Dr. Fish or any of the casters. Just let us know that you would like your match to be on stream, and we'll try to get you sometime Saturday on Sunday afternoon. Saku has some really cool matches for tonight, so just in case you're curious what is going to be happening, there's going to be Itachi versus Rami at 8 p.m., which is for Wild.
That sounds awesome.
That is going to be amazing.
Yet another F2L match.
Yeah,
Nice.
and that's going to be followed by the Battlegrounds finals. So for you Battlegrounds players, that's looking forward to that. And yeah, I guess we're signing off right now. We'll see you next week. Have a good Sunday and a good start of your week. See y'all later.
Bye everybody.
Out. Beautiful.